Yeah, so like Disco Elysium, folks, is, well, it's a lot. There's a lot. There's a lot going on in this game. And you keep having to recontextualize what's happening, even with the little tiny bit of experience with the game that I know or that I've had. As you can tell if you know this game, but you didn't watch my last stream, I haven't gone very far and I haven't done very much. Um, no, I want to I want to take a moment. There were things I wanted to say as I've been thinking about this game. Um, Oh yeah, so I've been thinking about the darkness of this game and the discomfort of this game and what my comfort level is going to be with it, and we're going to kind of see how that goes. Um, but one of the things that I thought was really worth pointing out is that the more I get to see of this game and the fact that its main character is apparently actually a cop, actually a detective, actually we're gonna solve crimes. I was so joking when I said that. Um, yeah, no, it's a good thing that time doesn't pass when you're not doing things, or we would be in so much trouble. Because I have a hard time with time sections even when I'm not talking. Can you imagine time sections when I am talking? Oh god, let's not imagine that. That's a bad experience for everybody. No, so I've been thinking about this game and it really reminds me of my experience with Discworld. And I'm really curious how that's going to work because part of why I struggled to get into Discworld, and I'm still not like into Discworld, but I have read and enjoyed some Discworld games or books a lot. Um, is like Discworld and Terry Pratchett in my mind were these two different things because I kept trying to read Discworld books because my friends were really into Discworld. And everyone loves Discworld. And then I would read a book and be like, or try reading a book and be like, I'm really not feeling this. But then I would read an interview with Sir Terry Pratchett, and he had this like overwhelming love and compassion for humanity and this incredibly philosophical way of looking at things. And then people would talk about the level of philosophy in the Discworld books. And I was like, well, I mean, I'm getting that from hearing him talk, but I'm not getting, well, hearing him talk, reading his words that are from his mouth, that are from him, not from his books. Um, and everyone's like, he's this incredibly philosophical, incredibly compassionate. I'm a better person. I love this very much. Um, and then I would read and try to read him again and again and just completely failed to get into them. And I finally had a friend who was like, I will recommend a book based on what I know of you, Lauren, which is to say melodrama and tragedy, darkness, seriousness, philosophy, characterization. Let's start with Mort. Let's give you death, which, as it turns out, was in fact the correct choice. And I did actually really enjoy, because I really enjoy Terry Pratchett's take on death. Um, and and there were moments that I really didn't like in the book, but it was fine because the majority of it was centering around a celebration of humanity, and a discussion of what makes humanity, from somebody outside of humanity, but with a fierce love for and an interest in humanity. And I loved that. And I was like, this is what I've been looking for. This is Terry Pratchett. And so I did try, and I haven't finished, but I started reading Night Watch, which that's why I'm talking about Discworld while playing Disco Elysium. Disco World. Disco Elysium. Okay, clearly Disco Elysium, the title is clearly a Discworld reference. Obviously, naturally. And there's things in the world that are so cynical and so awful and terrible. And what works for me about what I've read of that book is that Vimes is fundamentally a good person trying to do the best he can in a really awful system with a lot of really awful people in power and a lot of ambivalence in the world. And like, I just, I need, in darkness, I need to have something to hold on to. And so what I'm hoping is that there will be an undercurrent of hope and goodness in this game. It's going to kind of be necessary to have some of that to get through, because the world is obviously clearly going to be kind of oppressive and terrible. And the game itself, I mean, everything is confusing and then you die, you know? The game itself is not going to make anything easier on me. And so I'm still kind of holding out. I'm early enough. I'm still holding out hope for the golden thread that's going to get me through the game. And I think that that's going to be here because of the way people have talked about this game. And I'm all right with having to find it and giving it some time. Now, I will say, I think part of what is supposed to buy the game some time for you to kind of calibrate your expectations is the sense of humor. And that is where we're going to run into a really interesting situation, because most comedy really doesn't work for me. And my least favorite kind of humor, I think, is slapstick. I hate slapstick comedy. I hate situational comedy. I hate things in which bad things happen and we're supposed to think they're funny. When bad things happen to bad people, I hate it. And it's supposed to be funny. It doesn't make me laugh. When bad things happen to good people and it's supposed to be funny, I just can't even understand that. And so one of the problems that I had with Discworld is that a lot of its comedy does have bad things happening to bad people, and it's kind of supposed to be funny. And it's really not. Anything to do with the wizards in Discworld, I would just cut those pages out of the book if I could. I don't, like, I have a strong aversion to ever reading about them again. And I know that from what I've seen in Disco Elysium, which I'm going to wind up calling Disco World or something like that by accident, just wait and see, because I've been tripping up a lot talking about things. I think that there's going to be a combination of several different kinds of humor happening here. And I'm really curious to see kind of how it lands, because wordplay is funny. Good-natured humor I enjoy. Self-deprecating darkness I can find entertaining. But if this game is going to expect me to find it funny when bad things are happening to people, that's going to be a very, like, grossly uncomfortable disconnect. So I'm really curious to see how it lands. Like, I did actually get a comment when somebody who follows me on Twitter saw that I was streaming this game. I got a comment that's kind of like, I'm curious what you're going to think of this game. As somebody who is compassionate, it's interesting that you're playing this game, which is very not, and is going to, like, have a really mean-spirited sense of humor. And so I don't know. I'm really curious to say. Like, in the case of the ceiling fan, it's super absurd. And so the funny bits come from the absurdity of it and the fact that it doesn't feel real. But I don't I don't know how that's going to shape up as we get more characters. We'll see kind of what the humor is. Like, that's one of my concerns with it. And so I'm going to continue to make choices when given choices. I'm going to try to make choices that seem like they are more compassionate and will not put me in a situation that's going to make me uncomfortable or sad as much as I can control it, with the understanding that the game is going to push me in that direction, whether I want it to or not. But that is something interesting that I'm thinking about. Another thing that the deaths also, if they're going to be... I mean, obviously, you're probably going to get, like, shot by crime people and in bad situations and in things that are emotionally brutal, because this game is probably going to pull out some emotional brutality. But I also think that... So I grew up playing Sierra graphical text adventure games. And if you've ever played a Sierra game, I don't know how many people here have played... King's Quest was my Sierra series of preference. Because when I was a child, Space Quest gave me nightmares. And Police Quest, I didn't really have the cultural touch points to get it and appreciate it. But King's Quest is very, very very close and near and dear to my heart. Like I'm a King's Quest super fan, but not to the same degree as my sister, who is a true point and click adventure super fan. But if you haven't played a Sierra game, what you need to know about this is that you die all the time, constantly, in the most absurd and ridiculous ways. Now, they're also really kind of meanly designed because they're so old, so you could also like put in like 15-20 hours of game and have not gotten something in like the first hour of the game and then permanently screw yourself over and having to load like earlier. So when I said, oh, I'm gonna have to save, like this is a Sierra game, that's what I'm referencing. I am okay with that now that I know, and so having the tie at the very beginning like kind of alerts me to the fact that I'm going to have to save, like it's a Sierra game. But if the deaths, for example, are absurd, like Sierra King's Quest, I'll specify King's Quest because there are a number of different series and they all operate kind of differently. But King's Quest is largely a very good-natured game. It's got a lot of fairy tales and mythology and magic in it. And the royal family of Daventry are all dumb as a post, except for Rosella. She's the only one who knows to start swimming when you go into deep water. But thank you, Late Night Funk. Yeah, I told myself I was going to be faster this time, but I'm off to a great start. Now, I hope you don't mind that I'm kind of talking through this, but this is kind of what I've been thinking about the past week as I've been like dodge rolling to avoid spoilers from all of my friends. Because everyone knows I've started Disco Elysium. But I've been trying to calibrate my expectations and make sure that I'm setting myself up in the best mindset that I can to play this game, because I know that this is going to push my comfort zone, and not just like somebody was joking about like we're looking forward to hearing you swear, as I try not to swear on stream, which was funny if you ever hang out with me in person like casually and I'm not like, oh, I gotta make sure that I'm properly behaving like Lauren the Flute. But when I'm just like Lauren hanging out with my friends, I actually swear a lot. Not very creatively though. But so the joke is that I will swear on stream because I don't swear on stream if I can help it. Because it sets a tone. It kind of like elevates everyone's behavior. If I don't swear, then everyone's kind of a little bit minding their manners in general. But that and it's, I know that some of the content has this. I know for a fact that there is content that is my trigger warning concerns of choice in this game. And so like I know there's like all these different ways that this game is going to push me. And I want to be able to get through it because I think there's going to be a lot of stuff that's really interesting. As a puzzle, I am so intrigued by this game. That is a misplaced modifier. Because I am not the puzzle. I find that this game, as a puzzle, is absolutely fascinating. As the puzzle refers to the game, not to Lauren. And I feel like wordplay like that and appreciating wordplay like that, this game's gonna really entertain me with that. The world building is gonna be interesting. Trying to figure out what's going on is super interesting. I love trying to figure out what's going on in things. I love mini golfing. If this is the first Lauren stream you've watched, okay, clearly I talk a lot. That I don't think I need to warn you at this point that that's gonna happen. But so you'll see the mini golfing icon emote. I'm sorry, it's not very clear. I'm not good at drawing emotes. But mini golfing is what we call when I start, like, my conjecture, which can sometimes be like a house of cards built upon another house of cards. Sometimes it's actually founded on things, but I'll sometimes just swing wildly. And I really, really enjoy doing that. And I think this game's going to give me a lot of that. But I have concerns about my comfort with dwelling in this space. For example, I noticed after I finished playing this game last week that I was in a certain headspace that I recognize, because I have lived in this brain for many years. I won't tell you how many. I grew up on Sierra Graphical Text Adventures, though, so that should give you some idea of like a rough approximation there. But I know that mindset where even if a thing doesn't necessarily upset or disturb me, it puts me like it puts a flavor that permeates my brain, and I cannot sleep with that flavor in my brain or bad things happen. So I know that I then have to clear that out by reading something else, which may be something like silly, fluffy fanfic or ridiculous fanfic. I really like mediocre Batfam fanfic. I don't keep up with Batman comics, but like I just go to AO3 and I'm like, oh look, somebody's updated something. They're all texting each other. It's funny. So I will probably have to do that. And now I know I have to do that with this game. It's interesting because there have been other things that do that to my brain that aren't necessarily scaring me, but I will have nightmares because it puts this flavor in my brain. So it's interesting. I don't know. So I don't know where I'm going with that. I had a thesis, I lost it. But yeah, does anyone have any questions for me before we begin? I will remind you, if you're new here, because I saw there are a bunch of folks that have shown up as like, this is your first chat here. Thank you, by the way. Lurkers, I'm super excited to have lurkers, so please never feel pressured, even if I'm talking to the new folks. But also new folks, I saw a bunch of like first chat folks. Thank you for joining. I thank you for your patience with me as I had 20 minutes trying to solve why the game was this big. What we got here. Yeah, well, welcome to all of you. We have a bunch of inside jokes, but I want you to feel included, so we'll happily explain them to you. If you have a really hard time not spoiling, because I had some problems with that with games that I was playing, our Discord has a channel that is specifically the place where spoilers happen. In fact, I upgraded it so it now has threads. It's one of the forum things on Discord, so that I'm also playing Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door, which is a little different. So this way, those folks don't have to engage with content from this game if they're trying to avoid it for personal reasons or to avoid their own spoilers. But so if you are screaming in the peanut gallery, especially when I start mini golfing and you're like, oh my God, why does she think that? Instead of blurting it out to me, you can blurt it out to other people who are also all going, ah, in the background with you. And I don't go into that channel. So if you want to join the Stream Spoilers channel, go to the Discord, ask a mod for permission to get to that channel, and dive on in. I've heard that it's fun. I've never been there. Yes, no, I picked these games partly because they're wildly tonally dissonant. And there's that whole like, I'm worried about being able to handle this game. I can't handle two games like this. So I'll pair it with a Paper Mario, which is great fun. Having a fantastic time. What is it? Jennifer and Bruce. We made some silly jokes because it turns out I can't always read. Yeah, but anyway, so yeah, hi, like Ruben, for example. Thank you so much for joining and being new. Late Night Funk. I think I've seen your name before. And let's see. And Gummy Bear Killer, which do you bite the heads off first? I'm sorry. Mrs. Seeds. I made my own build. Oh, okay. Chrono is here to give the numbers. Thank you. As you can see, I have 1 HP. So this has gone well already. Generalissimo Fortissimo. Okay, first of all, that's a super fun name to say. Generalissimo Fortissimo. Fantastic. I don't have a favorite Indigo Girls song. I don't think I really know. I think I've heard some of their songs before, but not like a lot. I'm sorry. I mostly know video game music. There was something else. Oh wow, well, we'll see how the spoilers channels. We didn't have spoilers channel when Undertale came out, so that probably is why. Okay. So I'm excited, Generalissimo Fortissimo, that you had auditions. I hope it goes well. I don't know if it was music auditions or acting auditions or what, but best of luck. That's always exciting. Squizgar, well, you just channel me because my memory is such that I have forgotten games that I've played before. I can play them fresh for the first time, for the second time. So you could just be like me. It's great. Yeah, no, I'm excited to see new folks here, but also excited to have my usual crowd. So yeah, if you like what you see here, I'm going to be doing this every Thursday night. I think there is a Thursday night that I'm going to a concert, and I'll let you know. But otherwise, every Thursday night, 7 till 10-ish Eastern, provided we don't have technical difficulties like we did tonight. Well, you're welcome to join. Oh, whoa! Oh, awesome. Hey, congratulations. That sounds fantastic. I like Toronto. That's where I live. It's a good city. There's a McDole in chat. Hello, McDole. That is a good game. I love that game. Of course, they had to decide to remake it right after I finished replaying the first 2 games on stream, but you know. All right. So, one other thing that somebody had a question about or a comment on, basically suggesting, and please refrain from making suggestions about gameplay, but somebody was like, kind of like, why didn't you pick the red option to flirt with Klaasje? I don't remember how to say her name. But I'm going to stick to things that don't make me uncomfortable because I think this game is going to make me plenty uncomfortable on its own. So that's my general rule of thumb there. Klaasje, thank you. Because I remember seeing it written because I put timestamps. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube, let me know what you think of the timestamps I've been using. Because, oh, hold on. Oh, music. Hold on, the game is a little bit sad graphically, and I have to make sure that I might change the settings up a little bit. Actually, give me just a second. There is music here. It wasn't there for just a second, but it is now that we've gotten close enough. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna make my computer louder, but it's gonna perform better. All right, there we go. Tough Stuff is working hard. If you hear what sounds like a plane about to take off, that's my laptop. All right, we'll turn the game volume up. So the graphics are probably going to look a little bit weird just by virtue of the oh, I bet that's the anti-aliasing or something like that. But the technical difficulties we had. Wait, there was a thing I could interact with up here. Okay. Wait, is this a door that I can open? Because this one has like, I could talk. Okay. I can't open that door. Yeah, I know, Dave, right? This is a thing. Like, I wasn't sure if this was like a door or a window, and I'm scared to do anything that has me going out. I don't want to, like... I guess I can just load. Take breaks. Talk to strangers and explore. Do you think I'm capable of talking to strangers? Oh! Oh! Oh, they had a thought! Okay, it's snowing outside. There's brass. It's beautiful. The horns just have such a beautiful tone. And then the contrast of the texture with the strings. and the strings have just taken over. Wait, is that an electric guitar? The horn is gone now. Brass is back. And I didn't even think about it. It's just a single strummed electric guitar riff, just one chord. Little of the guitar. And then it fades away again. All right, I'm going to turn the volume back down to normal levels. I'm sorry, I just needed to listen to that. I just needed to listen to that. That's stunning. And it's interesting too because like you kind of get the feeling because it's very spare at the beginning. It's just the horn. I think a trumpet actually, not a French horn. I think that's trumpet. But it's very spare and repetitive. But you kind of get the feeling that it's going to go somewhere. You get the feeling it's going to build before it does. And that's when I was like, wait. And that's when I started turning the music up because I was like, this is going to go somewhere. This is going to be something. This music is going to do something, but I have no idea what. And then for it to go from something so spare and low, like lonely, but beautiful, to have other voices come in a few at a time in this kind of like strange, like almost hesitant way where they like come and go and they come and go and they don't stay until they do stay. And then they start stacking together layer upon layer of different instruments, all with different tones. I initially thought it was just going to be a brass ensemble until I realized that what I was hearing was low strings. And you hear some low reeds as well. And then you start getting like the very distant, very spare jangle of a very heavily distorted electric guitar. And a few other pieces kind of blending together eventually into this very full sound that it's strange because it's not that it doesn't sound sad, and it's not that it doesn't have some of the like it does have the mournfulness kind of that the original part of it has, but it's less lonely. Like the fact that it has these different voices, like none of them are working together, none of them are together. There's no harmonizing and raising our voices together and uniting and coming together and like feeling but at the same time they're still together. So I guess in a way, if I were to overanalyze the music, which I might as well overanalyze the music, then I would say if the music is trying to set the tone for what the feeling of the game is going to be and what the people in this game are going to be, and I have spent so long out here that it just auto-saved. Thanks, Disco Elysium. Passive aggressive much game. Yeah, I would say that it feels like the game is going to be about, you know, very disparate experiences and disconnected people whose lives don't necessarily overlap in a nice, beautiful, harmonic way. But at the same time, they are going to a place together, and maybe they don't craft, like they don't build to something that is like the sum of all of their parts in like an intentional, organized sort of way. But perhaps we find the beauty in simply walking through this together, and realizing that we're not alone and that there are others that we can spend time with, even if it's not that we have even if it's not that we're characters in a story with our threads woven together carefully into a very specific pattern, because that's not how life works in real life. We still make the pattern of our existences overlapping and coexisting. I don't know. I should probably click on what this poor man is thinking. I've also been thinking about whether I want to give him the thinking about this pop singer, just to see what happens, because it's the first thinking about things that I've gotten, and I kind of want to see how that works. I don't really think I do think pieces, but I do talk. All right, let's click on this yellow one first. Oh, I'm sorry, give me just a second. Oh, it's so beautiful. I'm sorry. I just needed a minute of that. You know, Desmaya, I've thought about that. Actually, I have a couple that I've wanted to make, but I get distracted and there's a lot of things I want to do. But I actually have a couple of video essays on... I want to do one on the narrative themes of Final Fantasy X, and then I want to do one that's just why I think Horizon Zero Dawn is one of the best written games ever made. Alright, I'm sorry, the music is distracting. If you think that this is bad, you should have seen me when I played Hades, because I really like electric guitars. We literally stopped for 10 minutes to listen to an electric guitar right before the very first big story reveal. Look, it's not my fault. Have you heard Darren Korb's compositions? All right. The smell of the sea makes you dizzy. Okay, so it's not just that it's winter and there's snow around. We are near the sea, which we know, we've seen that. But it's still kind of nice to know, like, the confirmation also, because my memory is bad, so I'd kind of forgotten that. The near riot and spoiler chat. I'm sorry, spoiler chat, but I'm glad you have each other. See, we can coexist together, and I will take my melody this way, and the rest of you can just wail in harmony. Seagulls also, they don't necessarily require the sea, though. They could just be a really big lake. So, this looks like they're... there's a thing that's interactable. I'm gonna... look at that. So, Whirling in Rags is the name of the location. That's the name of the save location, but I wasn't sure if that referred to, like, a neighborhood or the part of the city or something. But apparently, it's the name of our hotel. But it's good to know that I will be able to read the text in this game. This does not have, like, a made-up confusing speak like a lot of games lately have done. Bagels. I do like bagels. Don't get me started on bagels. There's a person down here with yellow hair? That's got to be a hat. There's no way your hair is that fluorescent. I guess it could be. What is this? I'm probably going to regret picking it up, but whatever. I'm going to pick it up. Oh, it's my other... Oh my god. He threw his other shoe through the window, didn't he? Oh my god, sir. Sir. Sir, I remembered your inventory. It's very nice of them to do that. Well, that's impressive. Also, the windows are made of actual glass instead of plastic. Shoes. They may have lost some of their luster over the years, but these green crocodile leather shoes fit you perfectly. Okay, so we're using non-American spellings because the word luster. You see, it's R-E, even though you say that like a syllable that is E-R. I'm sorry, but I do actually think that the American spellings mostly make a lot more sense. They are crocodile leather. They are heels, but they look like they're low enough heels that I could probably walk in them. I'm a little concerned about bullets, not gonna lie. Especially now that I know that my brain is gonna start trying to tell me what to do in a like more direct sort of way than brains usually. I'm concerned, but I don't know that I have the brain bits that make you more likely to shoot. So that's good. All right. Does this come from my freaking necktie? Our protagonist. Yes. For anyone who maybe didn't watch the first stream, the protagonist right now is Revolver Ocelot. That is his name. Because when I saw the cover art, with no context when I was putting together my promo graphics for this stream, and I was like, oh, it's clearly it's Flashlight Glasses Man and Revolver Ocelot, and together they solve crime. And it turns out that the main character is Revolver Ocelot and not Flashlight Glasses Man, because I saw Flashlight Glasses Man downstairs. I don't think he believes he's fashionable, honestly. I don't think so, because he is too self-deprecating about himself. I think that he is still dressing in a way that he feels... I think there's something self-deprecating, and he knows that he's wearing this fashion from a time that's long past. He's still clinging to a time that's long past. I can speculate as to why. I don't have a whole lot to go off of. But that was clearly the time that things were good for the world, and presumably the time that things were good for him. And he's still clinging to that for some reason. And yet he's come up here to basically drink himself to death. Which it's a slow process that he attempted to accelerate last night, and it almost worked, but he survived. This is what I know. And I got the necktie. I suppose you can probably beat the game without the horrific necktie. I wonder... Well, we'll see. Oh, do I have another thought?
There they both are. Two identical shoes. Both copiously green and indiscriminately snakeskin, reunited on your feet.
Wait, but I thought it said they were crocodile, not snake. All right. Thanks, composure. You're contributing to this conversation.
Like two baby crocodiles.
This is a very good point. So the thing is, dude man, Revolver Ocelot does not know that he is a cop. We only know that he is a cop because he apparently told this other lady. And she said us, so presumably he told all of the people in the hotel that he's a cop. That doesn't mean he's actually a cop. He might not be a cop. There might be more going on than that. I don't know what the deal is. He may have been very close friends with a cop, and then his brain gets melted due to the influence of chemicals and trauma, and thereby he wakes up and thinks himself a cop. Putting him in very good video game company. Spoilers for other... Yes, Revolver Strife. Yes. So it is possible. Because it is true, he doesn't dress like a cop from what I know cops are like. And he seems surprised that he's a cop. He's like, why would they let someone like me be a cop? And the lady's like, man, I don't know. You just told us. But they'll let anyone be a cop these days. So, but we don't know. At this point, I don't know what cops dress like in this universe. So this is my first hint that they don't look like this. Or maybe they do. I don't know. But he seems to have the idea that he shouldn't be a cop. And maybe he doesn't dress like a cop. Maybe he's supposed to be undercover right now. I don't know. We'll find out. But we don't know what a cop is like in this town. Like, I don't know. Maybe they all wear disco blazers. That's like a cop blazer. But I'm going to choose this. Wait, these do not look like normal cop shoes because I am overanalyzing everything. So why not have Mr. Dude Man, Revolver Ocelot, will also overanalyze everything.
It's pretty clear a normal cop is not what you are.
Yes, that does seem to be the case. Okay, how do they fit?
Good. They're balanced. Comfy. Feels like the only good thing about you right now, truth be told.
Okay, so my morale is good. Having a solid foundation under my feet is enough to make me feel like I've got something to stand on. All right. I don't know exactly what morale points. Oh, +1 morale, +1 health. Charges. I don't know what any of that means, but Columbo is not a cop. Oh, we should go back in and look at our window and then piece that together. I'm gonna do this. I know, Dave, I'm making so much progress. I wonder what that sign says. Dude Man's not gonna read it though. Oh, that took 2 minutes. I don't know why that's extra funny to me, but it is. Let's go see if we can... I want to look at this window. I don't want to run. I want to walk.
The window stands broken in its frame. Cold wind blows in.
I want to assess the damage because I know that it was caused by me throwing my shoes for some reason. I want to know why I threw my shoes. But I guess I have to leave. I have pieced that together, but I am not hungover. And Mr. Ocelot is. Okay, hold on. So we've got... Yes! Oh, yes. Okay, that's not quite what I wanted. I don't remember what the thing I want. But I was like, C for character. And it worked. Okay, so there's C and I and... there's the thing that how do I access my mind palace? How do I access my mind palace? What's the button for that? Thought cabinet, mind palace, inventory. Oh, is that through my inventory? T. Ha! Shall we think about this pop star man? That is a really unsettling picture. That is... I should probably not think too hard about that picture. So the problem is that I can't really see the icons super well. So that's why the shortcuts are better for me. Is it ears on a head? I think it's just a head with... Actually, I don't know. I don't know. All right. So I'm going to lose some logic and have my head in cuts. Let's see what happens. Why not? What's the worst that can happen? I die? I've already done that. hold on. I'm going to save first. How do I save? That's how I save. Save game. Martinez. Okay, that's what's outside. Okay. Okay. So I assume that literally everything in the game is going to have upsides and downsides. This does not seem like a game where anything is going to be without consequences. So you can assume that I am assuming that any decision I make is going to have consequences, and some of them I will like and some of them I won't like. But this is not a game I think that can be min-maxed, and I am certainly not going to min-max. I'm really curious about this dude and why this is the thought that is in my head. So I'm thinking about this now, and if I don't like it, I can always undo it. So we're going to do that. We're going to go through here. I think there's not much else we can do with the mirror right now. And this door does not go anywhere. I think. Yeah. Can't do that. So I mentioned to one of my best friends that I was playing this game. I love him dearly. We tend to have disagreements on the story and themes of games and stuff. But he was like, oh, I played Disco Elysium, but I'm pretty sure I saw everything there was to see, so I don't need to replay it. And I was like, you realize that you can have wildly different experiences. But I think that because he is mostly a BioWare player, and in BioWare, most things are the illusion of choice. You know, in a BioWare game and in games like that, you have some choices. But for the most part, like, it's like you can like find or not find plot threads, but you're going to mostly have the same general experience regardless of what you choose. So if you're like, I think I found all of the different pieces, like if you're like, okay, well, I think I found a lot of like hidden content, like I went and I initiated conversations and started these plot threads. If you think of the game as being more like a BioWare game, I can see how you might get that impression where you don't think that the game is going to change wildly based on your choices, but it's not like that. Yeah, no, I thought that was funny. So I told him, but I was like, you know, you don't have to replay it. Like, your playthrough can be your playthrough, but that's not, like, literally, I haven't played the game much, but even I can tell that that's not how the game works this early in the game. So I'm gonna say hello. I don't know what I'm gonna say here.
The door is closed.
I might as well knock. Oh, no, that's not what I meant to do.
The door is closed.
Yes, I know.
There is no answer. You hear the shower being turned on somewhere inside. A tremendous loneliness comes over you. Everybody in the world is doing something without you.
No. No. Absolutely not.
The door is closed.
Nope. Nope. Not doing that. But that does tell me his state of mind, that the temptation to cry out to the unfairness and loneliness of the world. I mean, a lot of people think or don't even consciously think to themselves what they're feeling. So that was very dramatically phrased. It is interesting. That tells me something if the guy is dramatic. If Revolver Ocelot himself is dramatic, or if that is Inland Empire itself being dramatic. Although that is a part of him, so I suppose that means that he is dramatic. Loop back around to that. But it tells me he is so overwhelmingly desperately lonely that the temptation, almost to the level of intrusive thoughts, of barging in there or shouting, please help me, I'm alone, I'm so alone and so sad. Like, we know that he's lonely. We know this in theory. But seeing that is an illustration that makes you feel how he feels more, rather than just understanding the concept of it. So, however, I will not run the chance of sexually harassing somebody. That is not within my comfort zone, so we won't do that. And we will go down the stairs instead. Am I cutting myself off from interactions? Yes, but my goal here is because I know that this is not a game where you want to see everything and you can see everything in one playthrough, so you should try to do everything to have every experience. I'm going to have the experience that I'm trying to have. And the experience that I'm trying to have is partly the one that will get me through the game emotionally, as Lauren. Yeah, intrusive thoughts as a game feature, I think is a good way of putting it. Like, 'cause that's what they are. Intrusive thoughts can be, like, they're usually, it was very helpful to me to learn about the concept of intrusive thoughts, because I think most people have them, if not everyone has them, but you think you're the only one that has them and you never mention them, and you think that there's something terrible about you. And then you find out that actually brains just do that for some reason. And I don't know why brains do that. For anyone who's not familiar with the concept of an intrusive thought, it's like if you've ever been like walking down the street and your brain's like, I wonder what would happen if I threw myself in front of that truck. Or like somebody's looking at a window and an intrusive thought in your brain is like, you could push them out. Or you're like holding a knife chopping something and you're like, I could just stab this into somebody. You're not going to do it. There is literally nothing in you that is actually going to do that. Or yeah, throwing something off a bridge. Like there's a lot of things that that just pop into your head out of nowhere. They don't say anything about who you are. They don't mean you're interested in those things or that you're curious or anything. There's just something about the way that the human brain is wired where just sometimes these little things just pop in for some reason. I don't know why. Probably somebody in brain science has an idea, but I'm not in brain science. So I don't know. But so if you haven't heard of that concept and you've maybe secretly had that pop into your head from time to time, and you've maybe carried a feeling of guilt about it, you can relax and let that guilt go, because that is just a slight malfunction of the human brain, just across the board. That just happens. They're really uncomfortable, yeah, but you can at least forgive yourself for having them. Just, I mean, keep moving. So this poor fellow, Revolver Ocelot's intrusive thoughts have become anthropomorphized and are straight up telling him what to do. And I am going to swallow down thoughts that I'm not comfortable with. And I guess they're kind of like intrusive thoughts, so they should be swallowed down because they don't reflect. Like, the thing is, like, the temptation to open the door, the temptation to yell after her or go in there after her, does not necessarily reflect on him as a person or his values. Like, that tells me how desperately sad and lonely he is. It doesn't tell me that he is a man who would charge in to do that. If that makes sense? You know? Like, obviously it's an option that you can take, and because you have the power of controlling your own character, like, if you take that action, then your version of Revolver Ocelot is one who would act on that. But it doesn't necessarily mean that he is a person who would or who wouldn't. And so I don't judge him for having that thought. Because it's clearly coming, I mean, we know for a fact this is a man who has been trying to kill himself with alcohol. There is no gentler way of putting it. And so he's clearly operating from a place of incredible pain. And when the brain is in pain, it will do desperate things. And so to me, somebody having the overwhelming loneliness, that the temptation to cry out, however dramatically, please save me from my loneliness, woman in the shower, let me join you. And to say, no, I shouldn't do that. Obviously, I shouldn't do that. No, I won't do that. Says something I would think about integrity of a person. Despite your desperation, despite your pain, you're still trying really hard to do what you think is the right thing, even if it costs you. And like, we don't know for sure. It may be that he is actually a man who would do that. And if I play him as a controlled person who doesn't do that sort of thing, other characters may comment, gosh, you're not acting like yourself. Usually you're more impulsive. But I don't know. And I honestly don't think that's the direction this game is going to go. I think at this point that the direction, we'll see. But given that the entirety of this game is its writing and its talking, and that the gameplay mechanics are basically you versus your brain having a conversation and you rolling the dice to try to stay in control of your brain, I think that what they're going to do instead is they've written all of these possibilities because, again, even a person who would never barge in on somebody in a way that could be sexually violent, maybe out of loneliness would have some temptation to do something that could be construed as that, but won't act on it. They've set up a lot of possibilities that you react to, and in doing so, perhaps the game will respond as though you are the person that you've been playing to be. I don't know. We'll see. I don't think they're going to do the gosh, you're acting like you're somebody else thing. I think that however you play is how you are, but I don't know. I think that would be more interesting. It would also be a lot more complicated, much, much harder to pull that off. There'd be a lot more flags involved, but that is literally fundamentally the way the game plays. The mechanics of the game, the construct of the game. So if you're going to make a game that has this as how it's set up, it almost seems like it'd be a shame to just do the same thing that people always do when they let you have choices as to how to act in situations. It seems like if you're going to go through this great length to make something with these different components anyway, you might as well do something more complicated and convoluted with them. And the people who made Disco Elysium did not cheap out on the amount of time that they put into things. That is apparent. So I'm going to operate under the assumption that, yeah, it is perfectly in character for Revolver Ocelot to take whatever steps that you take as him. And he gets shaped as a person by the things that you say and do, or choose to do or not do. So my Revolver Ocelot is a man who is painfully lonely, who has these melodramatic thoughts, but chooses not to act on them because that would be horrible. And even when he's almost succeeded in drinking himself to death, he still holds himself together as much as he can there. So we'll see. We'll see. Who knows? And you're not allowed to tell me whether I'm right or wrong because I said so. So you either sit there and are like, oh, how astute Lauren is. Oh, this is amazing. Or you're like, oh my God, Lauren. All right, well, she'll find out the hard way. And either way, it's fine. We're going to have an interesting time. Yeah. No, having a character drink himself to amnesia is a great way of letting you explore and experience the world and your character and everything. But it's a nice. I mentioned this I think last stream that's a nice way of getting people giving people an opportunity, an excuse to get to know the world better. This is where the lyrics would be. Oh, he's a musician. You don't know that unless you're either a musician or very interested in music. You don't think about those things. Just saying. Do not confirm or deny. Do not resist the temptation. I can feel some of you thinking about it. No. Bad. Sit on your hands. Oh, man. Oh, excellent, Peppers. Undertale, there's some really good arrangements of Undertale music out there that are officially licensed, so if you want to dive on in, there's a lot to look for there. A big old karaoke mic just waiting for someone to sing into it. Okay, so this is where the karaoke lyrics would go. So he is somebody who's done karaoke before, at least. At the very least. Maybe he's not a musician. But the fact that he immediately, interprets this, he knows what all of this is, it tells me he has a familiarity with it. So what's over here? This is usually where we have, our specials listed? Oh, the speaker. The speaker is connected to the radio. The music is seasoned with static. What an interesting and effective word choice. Amazing. Amazing. That's beautiful. I have moved. I've just been talking and thinking things out. Or thinking about things out loud. This is I'm a very slow streamer. That's just how it's gonna go. I'm sorry. Oh, look at that. Another autosave. I'm sorry. Every time I get the autosave in the middle of just sitting there talking, I'm going to interpret that as the game being like, It's like the passive aggressive bartender letting you know that it's getting closer to closing time. Yeah, the autosave is on a timer. No, it is. All right, we've got a purple thought. My last thought was yellow. I wonder if that tells me about... Yes, that does. So the shoe one, composure. Yeah. So this is going to be something psyche based. Okay, cool. Neat. All right. Well, this could be wildly out of control. Let's find out.
You should totally sing karaoke here, the first chance you get. Your emotions need to be expressed. People need to know your vast oceanic soul.
Amazing. I mean, you should totally sing karaoke. Don't feel guilty about singing karaoke, even if you're bad at singing. That's totally fine. Karaoke is a fun time. Or for some people, karaoke is their way of expressing themselves musically because they don't have any more outlets and they take it very seriously. But for other people, it's just a way to hang out and be silly with your friends. So whatever your draw to karaoke is, you won't be the only one doing it your way, and it's totally valid. Yes, this is, it might be a detective game. We're figuring it out as we go. We don't know. I'm at the very beginning and I do not know anything and my character has amnesia. So we'll figure it out. Wait, is that my cat meowing or is that seagulls outside? I can't tell. If we ever leave this room, we might find out. We'll get there eventually, look. All right. So we can choose my soul is immense, my soul is modest, it's normal sized. My soul is puny, or my soul's cubic content is obscured by the hangover. I'm sorry, but I cannot pick any other option than this one.
Of course, at this point, precise measurements of your soul can only be performed from the outside. It needs to be heard.
I don't know.
Through a PA system.
I mean, I would actually love to hear what Revolver Ocelot would want to sing. I'm glad, Grawmad. Like, that's just... I keep telling myself I'm not going to do this, and I'm going to actually play through the game like a normal person. But it turns out that with games like this, I'm physically incapable of it. If you ever want to laugh, see how long it took me replaying Chapter 1 of Deltarune. 12 hours. Deltarune is my jam. All right, Inland Empire really wants me to sing karaoke.
By other people.
What should I sing when it comes to it? I mean, the thing is, there's nothing wrong with singing your heart out and expressing your tortured soul through karaoke. Like, that's perfectly reasonable. There's no reason not to do that. I don't necessarily feel like this needs to be suppressed. Now, this may mean that I then later need to reel him in because I've indulged his more dramatic tendencies, but let's find out.
You have not yet stumbled on the right lamentation, but it's out there. It'll come to you. You will wreak havoc with it.
Oh
Don't worry.
God, you're so dramatic, Inland Empire. All right. Do I want to be self-indulgently maudlin? Or do I want to be self-aware about what I should do? It's hard for me. It's hard for me to take seriously. They'll really get a gauge on my soul with that. Sorry, I'll read these out loud what the options are. In case anyone is listening instead of watching. So it's either lamentation sounds good. They'll really get a gauge on my soul with that. You gotta lean into the drama. This is you leaning into Inland Empire. Or I was thinking maybe I could sing something happy, get the people going. Even if you feel tortured inside, you got to think about the well-being of the people around you. And I don't know, Mr. Revolver Ocelot. Are you somebody who would want to let the world know about your soul and the depths of your agony? Or are you somebody who would want to try to cheer people up and get your feelings of self-worth by making other people happy by performing for them? Let's pick that.
No. Don't sing the happy song. It's stupid. Sing the sad song. It's profound.
I am saying this as somebody who generally tells people that I lack a sense of humor because comedy so seldom works for me. And somebody whose tendency to be drawn towards melodrama and tragedy is so pronounced that it has become a meme. It is so much harder to write comedy than tragedy. It is so much harder to make people happy than to make them sad. If you can successfully sing a happy song that makes people feel better when they walk out, that is more challenging. That is more profound than singing a maudlin sad song and moving them to tears. It is much easier to push someone's buttons with half-assed sadness than it is to successfully make someone smile or successfully make someone laugh. You heard it here first, folks. And what's funny, because people sometimes think that I will have the opposite feeling because I tend to avoid comedy and I tend not to write comedy. That's partly because comedy's hard and subjective. Sad song, I'm not in any way saying that sad songs are bad. I'm not saying that sad songs are half-assed inherently, or that sad songs are the cheap and easy way out. But it is easier to cause some degree of emotional catharsis through sadness than it is to make people feel better through something happy and lighthearted. I love melodrama and tragedy. Like I am pulled to things that will make me cry. And that's the kind of writing that I do. And in fact, I had a voice teacher because I started singing in college. And my voice teacher told me that I was not allowed to sing any more sad folk songs. So she gave me all that jazz to sing and a few other songs like that. Because I'm really I'm in a similar boat, or have been in a similar boat, Bevis, and left to my own devices, I will indulge in sadness and melodrama all the time. But I do love things. Like, part of why I love Toby Fox stuff so much is because it makes me laugh, and that's hard. So yeah, trying to sing something, and I sing a lot of really happy songs, intentionally, like Pollyanna from Mother, Rainbow Connection. I like to sing songs that are like getting a hug when you need it. Blues, hi blues. I hope you can see that I'm waving to you. Blues, hi. Okay, anyway. Yeah. And I think it's really good if you're going to do one to temper it with the other, whether you are primarily doing comedy and giving it a couple of moments that really hurt, or if you're writing tragedy and you give moments of relief, comic relief. This is something that I have been studying. Toby Fox games are an absolute masterwork, a masterclass. You can learn so much about comic relief from him. Yeah. Anyway. So my favorite songs in video games tend to be the really, really sad, tragic ones, the obnoxiously cheerful ones, and badass battle themes. Anyway, I disagree with Inland Empire, so I'm going to have to fight it. Yeah, I don't know if Rainbow Connection is like a happy, happy song, but it's an everything's going to be all right, and I'm going to keep pushing forward song.
You have to find something tragic to sing first, though.
I have a new task, sing karaoke. I mean, I'm going to do that. That's fine. right. I think I'm going to try to... Well, we'll see. I wonder if he's a good singer. Honestly, there's a lot of depth to Rainbow Connection. But it's kind of about, like, maybe it's wrong and crazy for me to dream, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Because I feel like that's what I've got to do, and that's what I'm supposed to do, and that's who I am. That resonates with me on a very deep and powerful level. I don't think he's gonna sing the karaoke now. He can sing karaoke later. Maybe. Alright, what's this? This is a water cooler. A large bubble is rising to the surface. It looks like a little bitty water cooler. Maybe that's what water coolers looked like in the 70s. I don't know. The menu has been wiped clean. Only the word Monday is written on it. Wonder if that means today is Monday. Hold on. Blue, that's intellect. Okay. I have a thought. Or an observation. A woman's hand wrote yesterday's menu. Today's starts in a man's handwriting. You can't actually generalize someone's gender. I mean, you can make assumptions, especially if you live in a highly gendered society. And so you know that, for example, women are encouraged and expected and led to have beautiful, graceful, feminine handwriting, especially swoopy cursive. And that is feminine. So men are supposed to have manly, blocky handwriting. So you can make generalizations based on your culture, but there's nothing inherently feminine or masculine about handwriting. But that is interesting. Also, notice that that's an observation that doesn't necessarily mean anything. It doesn't necessarily have any consequence, but that level of awareness of thinking about details, that's something about who he is. That's my version of Revolver Ocelot, has multiple points in braininess. So his brain, he'll pick up on those little details, even when he's got a bad hangover and even when he's got no reason to pick up on those details. Although I kind of wonder whether he maybe was going undercover here or something like that, in which case he totally failed because he told people that he was a cop. Or what? Because he's been here for 3 days, so this isn't where he, like, stays long term. So there's got to be a reason why he's here, and I don't know what that is. Yeah, the handwriting observation is definitely because I have points in intellect. Can I talk to this person? I can talk to this person. There's a door back there. There's a door thingy here, and there's a thing here. I'm going to talk to this person.
A man in his late 20s stands behind the counter, inspecting a stuffed seabird. As you approach, he gives you a sideways glance, then looks down again.
My brain seems uncomfortable with him, the way this voice is. Let's see. He looks kind of familiar. Okay, so I think that they just give people red noses in this game. And a high contrast between their noses and their rest of their skin tone. I think that's stylistic. I thought that was because my man had tried to drink himself to death, but this guy's portrait has a little bit of that as well. His face looks a little goofy, but it's also well drawn. He does not have a very strong chin.
That was disdain in his eyes. Even now he's purposely ignoring you.
Oh, man. So then the question that I have to ask myself as a player, and this is not an invitation to answer this question. My empathy is telling me that that's disdain in his eyes. But I, as Lauren, don't actually know if it's correct. Like, this is a dice roll success that tells me that I'm reading his emotions. But it is also entirely possible that it's not correct. That it's purely what his brain is telling him. But I don't know about you, but my brain tells me lots and lots of things that aren't true, especially when it comes to other people's perceptions and reactions to me, you know? So I'm inclined to disbelieve my empathy because of the way that it's talking and the way that it's responding. This doesn't sound like a legitimate, genuine read on another person. This sounds like my own insecurity talking. You know? Like, if you're analyzing people unemotionally and you're making observations about them, you're not going to necessarily internalize things in the same way. And furthermore, adding to this theory that I have that my brain can't be trusted, the various other voices in my head have told me what is or is not a good idea. And they are like, this is true. And I'm like, no, that's a really bad idea. But they think it's a good idea. So I feel like, you know, if authority can lie to me, empathy can lie to me. Which is interesting because, yes, that's right. I'm glad that you could tell that I was calling out authority specifically there. But no, honestly, I'm predisposed as a player to trust empathy, to want to trust empathy. I picked empathy as the stat that I want, as the skill that I most want to be my centerpiece, because I want my character to be compassionate, and empathic and understand other people, and think about other people instead of kind of running the risk of depersonalizing others. But just because I'm more inclined to trust empathy because that's something that I personally value versus authority, which is something that I personally don't value, I feel like that just as one can be wrong, the other can be wrong. I feel like empathy is probably going to be a bit more trustworthy on other people and things that are not related to me. Me being Revolver Ocelot. I don't think Revolver Ocelot is in any frame of mind to correctly gauge other people's reactions to him. Especially not something as low-key as disdain. Like, I think that I might trust him to be like, this person seems reserved, like they don't want to talk to me, like maybe they're hiding something. I might trust him, especially depends on how he phrases that. But in this case, I mean, this guy may very well be looking at him with disdain because, I mean, we saw the way the woman upstairs reacted to him. Like, he's kind of... No, the player character's not actually named Revolver Ocelot. We don't know what his name is. Nobody tell me what his name is. It's a spoiler. But because when I saw a picture of him, he made me think of Revolver Ocelot from Metal Gear Solid. I jokingly dubbed him Revolver Ocelot, and then because he does not have a name that we are given in the game, I'm continuing to call him Revolver Ocelot because I think I'm funny. But yeah. Oh, I guess Revolver Ocelot would have a real name too, the actual Metal Gear Solid character. But yeah, so sorry I'm like the slowest person in the world, but I gotta overanalyze everything. I'm gonna choose to believe until proven otherwise that empathy is... Oh. I can swear on this stream. Empathy is full of shit right now. So I'm going to try to temper how I take its suggestions. Yeah, that's right. Lauren said a big bad swear. I don't usually swear when I stream. I find that by not swearing on stream, not only am I making sure that it's kid-friendly in that way, but it also tends to make people also be on their best behavior a little bit. So. Oh, it's funny. Yeah, I know, right? Look, this game is going to make me swear. So I might as well occasionally get actual Lauren swears out too. Wash your mouth. Yes, indeed. Well, Well, yeah, this game literally has swears, and I have to read the text that's not read out loud. I am reading out loud, which means that I will be reading swears out loud. I've already done so. The disco ass blazer is actual in-game text. So, all right. Look at the stuffed bird. Are you the bartender? So my inclination here is to, my inclination here is to try to cover the fact that I don't remember anything. Which, are you the bartender, would absolutely reveal that I don't remember anything. Also, it's the morning. And this is the bar, from the looks of it. But I don't know. I'm afraid that if I say something tells me you don't like me, I'm going to put him on the spot. That's not a very... Like, you could say this kind of like in a joking way. But, I mean, this would reveal what customer service is like in this world. If their world has the, like, customer's always right mentality, so he has to be polite to me no matter what because he is an employee and I am a customer. Or if he can be actually open and honest and direct because there is not the cult of customers always right. It could be interesting. I mean, it's true I am a cop, as far as we can tell. So we don't know for sure, though. I feel like looking at the stuffed bird might be the most polite thing to do here, without revealing that I don't have any memory because I drank myself mostly to death.
A competent work of taxidermy. The white and brown seabird lies among piles of coasters and drying mugs. One of its wings broken. The man is trying to mend it.
By the way, I didn't read the options out loud, but I chose to look at the stuffed bird instead of either saying, you don't like me, do you? Or are you the bartender? All right.
Looks like the bird was ripped off the shield that was used to mount it, most likely on a wall.
Did I do that? Did I do that? I might have done that. We are talking about a man who broke a window by throwing his shoe through it. So, I might have done that. Don't tell me.
This is the Great Skua. The seabird is the symbol for the discovery of the Insulindian Isola, the part of the world you are in right now.
Thank you, Encyclopedia. The brain is reading the book. The face is not. That is entertaining to me. All right. So this is a symbol for the discovery of the location where we are now.
Something about it makes you feel bitter.
I'm pretty sure I broke it, and that's why maybe this guy doesn't like me. No, it's true. And it is possible. Like I said, like it's possible both that he doesn't like me and that my brain is assuming things. We'll find out, though. Maybe my empathy is trustworthy. I don't know. Either of these, if I'm the one who broke it, is just going to make the situation worse and also reveal that I don't remember anything. So let's pick this answer.
Look, your buddy is over there.
Okay, so I said that's the Great Skua, right? And then he looks at the door where a man in a bomber jacket is tapping his foot on the floor. Okay, yeah, so this guy is mad that I'm here. I think I damaged that. I still don't think I'm going to necessarily trust my empathy stat.
Why don't you go and talk to him, okay?
I can either say, what do you mean, my buddy? Or I'm a cop and I talk to whomever I please. I'm going to say, what do you mean, my buddy? This is obviously going to be Glasses Flashlight Man.
He pretends not to hear you, concentrating on the bird instead.
Okay, now he's acted really unfriendly to me. So now I might ask, something tells me you don't like me. I'm just curious to see what this is. To me, this fits a flow of conversation now.
Oh no, you're a hero. A real hero cop.
He says this without looking up.
Could the massive property damage upstairs have anything to do with this?
So I can either say, so not only am I a cop, but I'm also a hero, or I can say, you're being sarcastic. I'm going to say you're being sarcastic. Yes, I smashed a lot of things, and they might not like me.
Am I? Or did you ride in, take the body down, solve the murder, and not trash my hostel room?
Oh, a hostel! Oh, that actually makes more sense. That makes a lot more sense. Okay. So I can say, oh my god, I did all those things, or I'm guessing I didn't do any of those things, or I do not appreciate your tone. This is no way to talk. Okay, sorry. I have to deliver these right. Oh my god, I did all those things? Whoa, I'm so cool. Or I'm guessing I didn't do any of those things. Or I can be authority, which I'm not going to do. So I'm going to choose, I'm guessing I didn't do any of those things. I'm sorry, I'm playing this guy not as extreme and entertaining as either of those other ways are. But again, I'm following my comfort as much as this game allows it.
You're right, you didn't, and it's only taken you 3 days not to.
Okay, so we're actually having a good conversation. So I say, what have I been doing all that time? Have you seen me around?
No, I haven't seen you around. I'm not always here.
He looks down again and keeps plucking at the bird. He's the cafeteria manager, not the bartender. I'm not going to ask about that because my dude knows he's got a problem. Alright, so I could go talk to my buddy. Buddy cops. Or buddy cops. Or I could go into the cafeteria. Let's take a look inside the cafeteria. The door is bolted. A sign reads, kitchen reserved for personnel until 1300. So that's 1 p.m.? Okay. So that means that you can't... If they do serve breakfast, it's early. And they don't appear to serve lunch at an hour that I, as an American Canadian, recognize. Alright. So this right here, that's my buddy. Flashlight glasses man. We'll get there eventually. A sign reads, mess hall reserved for union members. Doors open 1600. That's 4 o'clock p.m. Man. Okay, so a union. So I'm curious then. This is not about the evils of capitalism because we have a union. There's a sign on the door. Summer door closed for the winter. Because I live somewhere cold now, I can understand why that might be. How exciting is that? Hold on, let's make sure there's not like a... Wait. Ha! 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 There's a button that lets you tell you what you can interact with. What is that? I guess it's like Sudafed, but for your nose? Can I take that? Am I allowed to take that? Let's find out. Healing item gained. I bet I can get addicted to healing drugs. I should probably be careful. Okay, what else can I interact with over here? There's a thing inside there that I can't... Oh, that looks like... Oh, no, I'm not going to take... Now that I know, this is probably somebody else's tips. I'm not going to take it. I could heal my single health point. Hey, eventually I might level up if I live that long. Hey, look, there's a dude! And I don't know what that is. What is that? A bottle of rum has been knocked over. Beautiful dark liquid is spilling out. The description. He's noticing and thinking about the beauty of it. Here's a sleeping fellow. Hold on, I'm gonna save because I could see this guy trying to kill me. Because I don't know. Because why not? I should probably delete some of these saves at some point. Because I was raised on Sierra games. Let's talk to this fellow. A man, a sleeping dock worker, with a really unfortunate bowl cut. No, that's a hat. A man is sleeping at the table wearing mud-caked boots and rolled-down overalls. The back of his shirt reads Wild Pines, encircled by a logo with a tree. So he's a dock worker who works for Wild Pines. Potentially. if that is his work jacket and not like a band or something. Yeah, I mean, I have 1 health. So that does make it like a Sierra game where you can insta-die. So it's fair to be careful.
On the counter, rolled out of his open hand, you see a blister pack of headache medicine.
I could probably use some of that, but I probably shouldn't take it from him. Physical instrument challenging. Wake him up. As much as probably not having a splitting hangover headache would be good for me, I feel like just taking someone's drugs, like the other thing is like hanging out up there. The other thing is just like in the like you can take meds from here spot, so I took meds from there. I don't think I should just take this guy's headache meds. I'm gonna try to wake him up because we should just save.
You gently shake his shoulder, but nothing happens. This man could probably sleep soundly in a ship's engine room.
Oh, I'm a weakling. That's why I can't wake him up. I'm not sure this says much about his sleeping, and I think this might say more about the absolute, like, wet noodle strength of Revolver Ocelot. Do I want to steal his pills? I could probably use them and I'll probably be less likely to die, but it just doesn't feel right to take his painkillers. Thanks, game. Thanks very much. Snore. Yeah, but I can just load a save. This looks like this is a fortune teller machine. But maybe I'm wrong. This royal pinball machine is unplugged. We don't trust any of you guys to have a pinball machine anymore. Let's talk to this lady.
Hello, sweetie.
Lena, the cryptozoologist's wife. Oh, that's interesting. Also, she's the first person to have responded positively to seeing me. She probably calls everybody sweetie, but at least I haven't done anything to not be sweetie. Cryptozoologist. Wait a second. Isn't a cryptozoologist a person who goes looking for like cryptids? Or is it actually something? Bigfoot hunter, yeah. All right. Okay. It's interesting that I do remember a few things. Not me. I mean, that was me remembering words. But that Revolver Ocelot is able to place some things about these people. Man. That's interesting. Okay. Now, at this point in the game, I have no idea if this game actually, like, if this world actually has magic in it. It might. Or even not magic, mutants or something like that. Like, Bigfoot might actually be real in the world of Disco Elysium. I have no way of knowing at this point. So, which is, it's fun because it's not our world. And sometimes even if games are set in our world, but especially if they're not, like, everything is like a free-for-all of like, it could be, could not be. Wait, that crown symbol, the crown symbol that's on that pinball machine looks familiar. I've seen that before. A bunch. That's got to be something. They've probably told me what it is and I probably forgot. I don't even have an excuse. I just have a bad memory.
You shouldn't keep your colleague waiting.
She nods toward the man in the orange bomber jacket. All right, game. Are you going to backseat me into actually making progress? I could just walk outside. I could just walk outside. But I'm not gonna. All right, folks. Are you ready? Are you ready to meet Glasses Flashlight Guy? All right. So all I know about this guy is that I think the internet is in love with him in a, like, my, like, fuck up Tumblr boyfriend kind of way. And I thought he was the main character of the game. And at this point in the game, I think that there's a possibility that we have a Tidus and Yuna thing going on here where, like, it's like there's the character of the central story within the game world, and then the character that I'm experiencing the world through, who also has his own personal story that he's the center of. Yeah, so I could be the deuteragonist. Yeah, no, that's possible. And I'm curious to see if that's going to be the case, because I know the internet is so in love with this other fellow right here. Alright. Well, alright, everybody, let's talk to your Tumblr boyfriend. Maybe we'll get an actual name for him so he can stop being Glasses Flashlight Guy. Oh, man. Unless he doesn't have a name too, and then he continues being Glasses Flashlight. Alright. Let's do this. I'm excited. I have the feeling that when I put timestamps on this video, I'm going to put a timestamp for meeting this guy. I get the feeling he's a little important. Let's do this.
A bespectacled man in an orange bomber jacket is tapping his foot on the floor. Looks like he's waiting for someone. You.
See, the glasses are totally the first thing. He's the glasses guy. All right, Kim Kitsuragi. Okay. His portrait makes him look like he's a very slender little dude with narrow shoulders. Kim Kitsuragi. Okay, I don't know if I'm going to call him Kim or if I'm going to call him by his last name. We'll find out.
As you approach, he narrows his eyes and extends his hand in greeting.
Oh, we're not friends. Oh, we're not friends. Oh, no. Either that or he's like, oh, what have you been up to? But this does not feel like a friend's greeting. That's funny. That is funny.
If an assault were launched on this building right now, if the windows came crashing down and the whole world descended upon you, this man would hurl himself in death's way to save you. You are sure of this, but why?
Okay, apparently Esprit de Corps disagrees with me. Maybe he's concerned about me, and so he's kind of like, how drunk are you, my friend? Just because, like, narrowing your eyes and extending your hand, like, there's like a certain degree of caution rather than warmth implied in that description. And I am prone to reading into everything and overanalyzing everything, especially when it comes to other people's actions. I know that this is news to all of you, so I figured I would let you know because I've been very subtle. Oh, man. Hold on. Who is he to me? Shake his hand or don't shake his hand. I'm going to ask Esprit de Corps who he is to me. The thing is, he could not like me and still be loyal to me. That's possible. We could have the, like, cops are there for each other because they're all cops sort of thing. Or we could have, like, I've done something that has, like, made him feel that he owes me one, but he doesn't like me. There's a lot of complexities there besides friendship that would lead somebody to be willing to die to save your life. So let's find out. Who is he to me? Let's see how much I can get out of my really pickled brain.
He is your half-brother.
Wait, what? Oh. 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 Wow. They should probably not be cop partners if they are related like that. That seems like a bad idea. Wow. Is he my little bro? Is he my little bro? I'm sorry, little bro. I have been really a very bad big bro. I'm not a big bro to look up to. I'm sorry. I got some problems. If you know if we're actually brothers or not, this is not the time to say anything about that. I only know what the game has given me. All right. I will shake his hand. And then we'll see if this is the right move or the wrong move. But it seems like the right move, so I'm going to do it. He is my half-brother.
Hello. I'm Kim Kitsuragi, Lieutenant, Precinct 57. You must be from the 41st.
No, I'm meeting him for the first time, so he's not my half-brother? I don't know. Yeah, because this sounds like he's introducing himself to me. Why did I think that this man would hurl himself in death's way to save you? I don't know. Okay. He's lieutenant from Precinct 57, and I'm from Precinct 41, I guess. Yes, no, that's true. That's true. But calling someone your half-brother is... It's so specific and strange. Like, if it said, he is your brother, then I would say that's not literal, you know? Calling someone your brother is very frequently just an idiom, but half brother being used metaphorically instead of literally is unusual. I haven't ever heard that before, which is why I was inclined to take it seriously. And it is possible it could still be true, and we know and he doesn't know because he doesn't know me. But yes, no, that is the cop instinct. I know that that's your connection to cop culture. Yes, I know. Maybe. It's such a strange thing to say. Like I said, if the spirit of cops said he's your brother, I would be like, cop bonding. But calling him your half brother is just a strange thing. And it makes sense. Yes, no, I know what the phrase means, and I also know how they're using it in this game. Yes, brother in arms versus blood relatives, yeah. So I think what's happening here is I think that they are using it, they're trying to do some clever wordplay. But because we have no way of knowing what literal truth is or not, the cleverness of the wordplay is not immediately apparent. And yes, because I can tell folks are trying to explain to me how the system works and how to interpret things, I will ask you not to do that. Do not tell me which voice does what, or to read into the voice, or to second guess the voice, or anything like that, unless I specifically ask. I know that Esprit de Corps, which I'm sorry, you're just going to have to deal with my bad French, is the spirit of cops. We're just gonna call it that. It's the cop brotherhood culture. But what has been happening here in chat is a degree of backseating that I would like to avoid in the future. So to clarify that, because I think that sometimes talking about spoilers and backseating can be a little bit difficult to get across, because there's such like a subjective interpretation of those things and people don't always mean it that way. But just to clear things up so that we can try to avoid that in the future. Right now, I have spent a considerable amount of time this stream trying to figure out what my relationship with these voices should be and how much I should trust them, whether they are telling me the truth or a skewed version of truth. Based on who or what they are. And that's been a source of interest for me because it's not immediately clear. And so I'm kind of trying to puzzle through that backwards or forwards. If you then straight up tell me, well, actually the voices are this way, so you need to think about whether the voices are telling you the truth or not, that is simultaneously confirming one thing and giving me advice on how to play the game. And at this point, I'm going to make assumptions that are going to be wrong. I am going to make incorrect assumptions. I'm going to read into things wrong. I'm going to overanalyze things, and it's not that deep, Lauren. I'm going to contradict myself and try things out too far this way and too far that way, and maybe reach the wrong conclusion trying to find a middle ground in there. That's fine. And I know that can be uncomfortable when you're watching somebody play something that you know, especially if you've played it a bunch and you've figured out how it works. But if you remember the excitement of figuring it out yourself, please give me the chance to have that excitement. And if you are a person who, upon playing this game and realizing that it has this really complicated setup that is not immediately apparent, like you went and you looked it up, or you asked people for advice, and so you're trying to pass that advice to me. That's not how I personally choose to play the game. I do not go and look things up to explain things. I have gone through the entirety of games, sometimes not fully understanding a mechanic because I wanted to wait and see if I could figure the mechanic out on my own. So just in the future, I know that it's super tempting to say that sort of thing, especially when I say something that you're like, but that's wrong. Even if you think that it is just straight up dumb, that I might think that this character is literally his half-brother, for example. Let me say something dumb, because the fun of this point in the game right now for me has been figuring out how I interact with these different voices and trying to figure out how much I can trust them. Because as I just said, like, I don't trust authority, and I just disregard authority. Like, anytime he says anything, I just shut him down. But then when empathy said something and I was trying to figure out how do I react to what empathy is saying, because it sounds like empathy, I mean, it's not that empathy is necessarily wrong. As we found through the further conversation, empathy was correct. This man does not like me. But the way that it was internalized and the way that it was described indicates to me that empathy is being influenced by Ocelot's own feelings about himself and his emotional state, which means that empathy, now I'm kind of trying to hone in on empathy, and how much I can trust it. But I suspect what I'm going to wind up doing is maybe assuming that it's probably right more often than not when it comes to a general sense of something, but if it is interpreting something based on me, to take that specific with a grain of salt, if that makes sense. So, yeah. So I'm really interested in that, especially because empathy is the skill that I picked as my signature. But I'm curious about the rest of these too. Yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry you were all excited to see your boyfriend here, and I had to take a tangent. But if I take these tangents a little earlier now, that'll kind of set the tone. So, like, nobody's, like, in trouble, and I'm not mad at anybody. So please don't think that I'm, like, saying, like, oh, no, you're in trouble, and I'm mad, and you all need to, like, feel bad and go sit in timeout. I'm just, I'm making it clear kind of where my boundaries are as far as spoilers and backseating. We will have more fun if I am free to do a lot of stupid things. Yeah, and if you want to join the spoiler chat, there is a Peanut Gallery spoiler chat happening on Discord. And even if you, like, don't ever go anywhere else in my Discord and you only pop in there to the spoiler chat to be part of the Peanut Gallery during streams, you're welcome to do that. So anyway, I'm going to continue, and I'm sorry. I hope you all are all right and will forgive me for that outburst, but I think it'll work better this way. Let's see how your boyfriend continues talking.
You realize he's waiting for your name.
So he does not know me, and unfortunately, I do not know me. Yeah, I try super hard to be backseat spoiler free, which does mean having to be a lot pickier than other people, I think, tend to be. And it can be confusing and uncomfortable for people sometimes. But I want to try to make it clear so we can all have fun. I think it'll be more fun. Oh, man. I am Revolver Ocelot. That's true. Let's see. What am I going to say?
This is your chance to come up with a really good name for yourself. Get creative. Conceptualize.
This is a terrible idea, Inland Empire. You know, I think we're going to be working together. So I think I should probably let him know that something's wrong. No. I don't think this is a good name or a good idea. I'm not going to do that. I think I'm going to let him know. I don't know if my guy has a hard time trusting people, but he has the sense that he can trust this man with his life. So I think trusting him with his truth is probably, this much of the truth is probably the best I can do. And also, yes, please do not, if you tell me to do something, even if I was going to do it anyway, and even if it screws up my playthrough, I will do the literal opposite because I am contrary. So be very careful before you start telling me that I should pick a particular option. I've done it before, and if I'm about to find something and people are telling me to go a place, I will overlook content and walk away because I don't do well. All right. Yes, if you tell me to press the free cake button, I will not get any cake. So I'm going to choose to tell him the truth. I don't really know my name.
Okay, then.
He processes the information, then disregards it. The music here is interesting because it kind of makes me think right now of something from Night in the Woods, actually. People are mad I'm not taking roles. Oh, well, I'm sorry, but I have played in hack and slash tabletop games in which I did melodrama. I've played hack and slash muds in which I was lower level than everybody else and got the hack and slash munchkin folks involved in my character's dramatic, like melodramatic, stupid character driven story with no combat involved. Like, I do not even care about dice. I can run sessions of tabletop games with almost no dice. Sorry.
It looks like we had a little scheduling error on Sunday. Saturday too, actually. Have you had time to talk to the manager here?
I don't. He's just disregarding the fact that I said I don't know my name. This is not good.
What he means is, he has been trying to meet up with you for 2 days, but you have been otherwise occupied.
This is not good. Okay, so my 3 options here are either you mean him, nod towards the cafeteria manager. Yeah, I just talked to him, or no, I haven't, or there must be some kind of a misunderstanding. You're taking
If you
me
don't mind, we should talk to him
for someone
again.
else.
Ask him for a rundown of the area. Now that I'm here as well. I understand the scene is out back, right?
I accidentally clicked on something I didn't mean to. I don't even know which answer I gave the you mean him. Yeah, I just talked to him. Well, that's fine. I have a touchpad mouse thingy, and unfortunately sometimes it's sensitive as I'm like rolling it around, it hit the thing. So that's fine. It wasn't the answer I was going to give, but it's fine. And he seems to be taking it. He's really cool about it. We should talk to him again now that I'm here as well. I understand the scene is out back. Oh, there's a crime scene. Why am I staying in the hostel that's the scene of the crime? I don't know.
It also wouldn't hurt to assure him the police are finally here. In full force, I mean. Have you mapped out the initial interviews?
The police are finally here. In full force, I mean. Okay, so he's trying to save she's trying to help me save face, I think. To some degree. While also letting me know that he knows that I'm in no state to do this. All right. Yes, the police. I'm aware that I'm a policeman. No, I'm going to be honest with him. Because it's better to be honest up front and disappoint him right away than have him find out that I have messed everything up. What have you been doing, man?
Okay, we'll have time for that after we take a look at the coroner's case.
Oh, he's taking care of this. He realizes that something is wrong. And he's going to try to make this work. Now, I don't know if he's going to, like, verbally skin me alive the moment that we are not in public here. Or if he's actually going to try to help me. Or if he's going to try to meddle and actually help me with my personal problems. We'll find out.
Have you removed the dead body from the tree?
Okay. A dead body from a tree sounds like a hanging. That is That is not good. That sounds like a lynching. That is not good. But we're in a different cultural context, and this is made by people from a different country, so it will be not that. Look, man, you know, yeah. No. I'm going to choose no. I could be super disco. 3 is the super disco answer. That is true.
So, the body is still in the tree.
So there's been no coroner. Yeah.
This is the first time you detect a weariness in the lieutenant's voice. It is obvious he would have preferred for the body to no longer be in the tree.
I wonder whether it changes based on what answers you give, if you can actually be telling the truth.
Where it has been hanging for 7 days straight. We should go there as soon as we are done talking to the owner.
I'm going to be honest here and say, but I can't remember anything. Yeah, he is definitely not thrilled. This is really not a good situation. But I don't know. I want him to know what he's dealing with because he seems like a decent fellow. I hope he doesn't... I'm gonna crush this poor man's spirit, aren't I? Like, it's one thing to have, like, a slacker partner. But also, that's a special case.
I can see you drank last night and the night before, and that you are still drunk now. But I have seen officers go through worse. Much worse.
Yeah, so I chose the option, but I can't remember anything. And so he can tell that I've been drinking. And I'm still drunk now. Okay. They assigned him to me because he can handle whatever is going on with me. I see. I am being babysat. I see. Okay.
If you need something for your headache, there is a general store nearby. But as I said, the dead body should be our number 1 concern.
So I can say either, what if I told you I'm not really a police officer? Or, how can you be so sure I'm from the police? Or, what were we supposed to do again? I wonder if I can ask more of these. Let's see. How can you be so sure I'm from the police?
I was sent here to meet a detective from Precinct 41. You have the insignia of the Citizens Militia on your sleeve and on your back.
He points to your jacket. Wonder if you come down here without your jacket, if he doesn't know you. That's possible. Yeah, but what if I stole somebody else's jacket, buddy?
I suppose you could be impersonating him. You could have gotten the insignia from the black market or forged it. But for now, I'm going to set those possibilities aside. I'm not from the Inspectorate General.
Okay. Well, I'm glad he's thought through it. I'm glad he's at least considered this. Somebody here is thinking things through and making logical decisions. Amazing. All right, and now everyone's going to start a new save so that they can come down here in just their tidy whities.
Inspectorate General means internal affairs. What he's saying is he's not from the Rat Squad and isn't supposed to suspect such things.
So I can either say, you mean the Rat Squad, or you mean internal affairs. I really don't know what the... He seems like somebody who would call them internal affairs and not the Rat Squad, so I'm going to pick 2. You mean internal affairs?
Yes, but I'm not them. I'm from criminal investigation.
So I can either say, you said insignia. These white rectangles, you mean, and point to your sleeve. Or you can say, okay, then I'm going to ask him about the insignia. White rectangles. That's a bizarre insignia. Just a white rectangle. What the heck, man?
Yes.
But they're just white rectangles.
They're not just white rectangles. They bear a halogen watermark with the letters RCM and a pattern resembling the street grid of Revachol West.
Okay, well that makes more sense. I'm glad to know this game is addressing my concerns.
I would ask you to step into the headlights of my motor carriage, but again, it's none of my concern. I just need you to do your job.
but shouldn't I have a badge or something? And I'll check my pockets. Yeah, no, the game has been very good about answering questions. No, there's plenty of questions it has not answered, but there are definitely things. At least Kim seems like he's going to think through things. All right. Yes, we're thinking about shapes. We got stuck on shapes in Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door. We decided we were talking about how turtles are like rectangles. All right. Shouldn't I have a badge or something?
You mean you don't have a badge?
It was not on me when I woke up, or I can pretend to find it and say I have my badge. I'm a policeman and I have my badge. No, I'm going to say it was not on me when I woke up. This is not good. I wonder if somebody stole it.
Losing your identification card is a serious matter. My vehicle has a shortwave. You can use it to report your badge missing. I would advise you to locate it as quickly as possible. But getting the body down should still take precedence.
I wonder if that girl stole it. I don't think she's too fond of cops. And I think something that she said or did, something about her gave me the impression that she's part of something. I don't know if my brain is just reading into things or what. But I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if she was part of some sort of resistance movement or something like that. In which case, having a cop's badge, a cop's identification would be extremely useful. So, but I'm going to choose the "what if I told you I'm not really a police officer" option.
We all feel that way sometimes. There is no such thing as a police officer, I'm afraid. What remains is that there is a dead body in the tree. Someone has to figure out who put it there. If we don't, no one else will.
He is really chill. I'm pretty sure that he is here because Ocelot has hit the point of non-functionality, and so they have assigned him the partner who can clean him up. Amazing. Well, it's yet to be seen whether this is like continues to be how he is. This is my initial reading on him.
But first, we have to take it down.
Okay, what were we supposed to do again?
Talk to the manager. Then we go out back and take the body down.
And let's go.
After you, officer.
The task. To talk to the manager and inspect the victim's body.
Lieutenant Kitsuragi is now in your party. You can talk to him whenever by interacting with him.
You get party members in this game. I didn't know that. I wonder if that means you can get other party members in this game. Oh, man. Am I going to recruit everybody? I'm not going to recruit everybody. Amazing. Oh, my God. Look at that. Look at that. It's a good time to autosave. I can't. Oh, I guess I can talk to him here. But I want to look at his. Can I look at his? Not that. No. All right. I guess I'm going to actually follow instructions for a little bit. I might regret this. I know, right? Whoever thought Lauren would actually do what she was supposed to do. I'll report my badge missing eventually. I'll find my badge eventually. I bet that Kim won't let you barge into that woman's apartment or the hotel room. Let's talk to this fellow. Hi, a real cop is here. Don't worry. It's going to be all right now. I'm really curious about the cops, though. Like, because I am inclined to distrust a police force. So he seems like he's a fine fellow. But he is a cop. And so I'm just kind of like, is he the good man in a bad situation? Is he like pleasant on a day-to-day level, but actually like his moral compass is perhaps cops first and not actually an independent moral compass? Who knows? We'll find out eventually. All right. Let's go talk to this fellow. Now that Kim is
The
here.
man with the unimpressive beard notices you approaching. He drops the ledger he was holding and turns to the lieutenant.
Yes, he's like, oh, there's an actual cop here. Good. Interestingly, though, they don't have police uniforms. They have their own jackets that are their own personal identities that happen to have the badge affixed to them. So he has a bomber jacket. I have a disco jacket. That means, I mean, he has a cop car, but if he has a bomber jacket, that makes it possible that he has a motorcycle, because that's a motorcycle jacket. I don't know. We are citizens militia. No, that is true. This is why, like, I'm really not quite sure what to expect from the cops. And there is a union here. I'm really curious about how the world works. I have no idea at this point. Lots and lots of pieces, and I don't have enough that I can do with them. I'm just beginning to kind of piece together a little bit about how my brain works and how I interact with it.
Mr. Garte, right?
The lieutenant glances.
You run this place.
He glances into his little notebook. Okay, yes. So we are not high levels of technology. We are not recording, and we are not typing. We are writing it out.
Yes.
He responds tersely.
I am Kim Kitsuragi from Precinct 57. This is an inter-district investigation, so joining me from Precinct 41.
He looks to you, realizing he still doesn't know your name. The Harbinger of Ruin, or I'm currently in between names. I feel like the Harbinger of Ruin. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm gonna indulge it just this once.
What?
Okay, so I can either say nothing. I just wanted to see what happens if I say that. Now I do. Or the gloaming. I am it, which I feel is a little bit too far. Yeah, no, he was just told that he was going to... The thing is, he's from a different precinct, and so what I think is going on is I think that the different precincts are to some degree run independently, so I think that there's going to be like different cop cultures, different cop like leaders and stuff. So Precinct 57 may not know who from District 41 or from Precinct 41 is going to be here. They just know that somebody is supposed to be here, and he's completely failing to do anything. I don't know how cops usually work. I'm not really up on the intricacies of cop culture, but I would guess that organization and cross communication may not be the greatest strength. So they just know that all they know is that one of their guys is going to be there. It would be funny if I'm not actually the cop. It would be funny if all this happens and it turns out I'm not actually a cop. Then I'm like a plant or something like that. Maybe I killed a cop. I don't know. Maybe the body out back is actually the cop, and I killed him myself and stole his clothes and then drank a whole lot. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm going to choose... It would be a really interesting story. I'm going to choose nothing. I just wanted to see what happens if I say that. Now I do. Now I know.
What is this? A joke to you? Is this what you get when you call the police now? This guy? We've been waiting for a week here.
He's looking at the lieutenant like, can you believe this?
Sir, I understand your concern, but we are here to do a job. And for us to do it, I need you to stay calm.
Yep. Kim is here to fix things. This poor fellow. I mean, we'll see. Like I said, I don't know if this is going to continue to be how he is all the way through, and I don't know what's underneath the surface. I don't know what is hiding underneath his calm exterior, so we'll find out.
Yes, of course.
He takes a step back. He's annoyed, but also finally somebody's here to do something about it, so he'll just ignore me. And Kim will take care of it.
For a moment, the man fidgets under the lieutenant's gaze. Then he gives in.
Oh. Oh, the lieutenant is intimidating him into something.
I know it took us a while to arrive at the scene, but it also took you a while to call us. It was you who placed the call, correct?
Ooh, Kim's like, yeah, don't get mad, buddy, because you're not innocent either. Fair.
No, I only just got here. It was probably Sylvie who called you. She usually works the bar here. I'm only temporarily taking over her duties.
That's not suspicious at all. I mean, actually, no. Frankly, if somebody comes across a dead body and they need to take a leave of absence from work to deal with the trauma of that, that's actually not necessarily suspicious. That's actually a pretty human thing. But it's from the point of view of this being like a story that is being told, that seems suspicious. We'll see.
Do you have her number?
Yeah, Sirius, think that makes sense. I have never come across a dead body. I think I would probably not be able to handle it. And I would probably have to change environments. That seems pretty rough, honestly. I hope you're all right.
As a matter of fact, I do.
He looks behind a pile of coasters, finds a slip of paper, and hands it to the lieutenant. He sounds relieved to have somebody actually doing the thing that they're supposed to be doing.
You said you just got here. From where? Are you a local?
Ha ha. Kim is just casually answering questions. Oh, geez.
What, of Martinez? No, I live in Jamrock. I only sometimes come here to keep an eye on the place. This is just one of the many, many cafeterias I manage.
Interesting. Okay. So there are different districts in the city, I believe. Martinez. I wonder then... I'm trying to get a sense of the scope of the place because I believe they've named the city and it is neither Martinez nor Jamrock. So I don't think this is a nearby city. I think that we are in a very, very large city. So these might be like different boroughs, essentially. We'll see. Many, many cafeterias I manage. Okay, so he's like not some young dude. He's an owner of a lot of things, or maybe just a manager. I'm not sure. Again, I'm not sure how this world is set up.
But you still know your way around, yes? In case we need direction.
Ha ha! Kim is actually going to test his claim that he's not a local, that he doesn't. Yeah, I think that Kim is gathering information just by asking this. It's a perfect cover. We just, in case we need directions, you'll be able to help us, right? Oh, man.
Yes, I know where some things are, but as I said, I don't live here. I just used to work here. And I'm not going to start working here again, if that's what you think.
Okay, so he does know this area. He does not like this area. He does not like this place. Interesting. Yeah, I feel like Ocelot is super hungover, so I bet that if I go down and steal that man's painkillers, I bet that I would not take problem roll head pain things. Good night, Dave. Thanks for coming by. You should definitely get some sleep. That's quite late. I'm glad you can make it, though.
I didn't imply that. Detective.
I can say who, me? Amazing. I could say yes, what, or who, me. Each of these seems like they have a slightly different connotation. Like who, me is like, wait, what? And what, I think, is kind of like, huh? Not really paying attention. And then yes actually sounds like I'm a bit more together. Let's try to be together. Let's try to make a good impression. It's a little late for that, buddy old pal.
I have everything. You?
Oh, you mean, do I have questions? Or no, I'm good. Oh, I'm going to ask questions. We're going to find out how bad I am at asking questions.
Yes. He means, do you have questions for me, like a police officer would?
The cafeteria manager is clearly agitated again.
He thinks you're stupid, sire.
That was drama. Amazing. I'm going to ask, why did Sylvie go away? Just to confirm.
She went away because none of your business.
Actually, it is my business. I'm literally a cop trying to figure out what happened here. And it's actually relevant to know what happened to the people who were present when the body happened?
Have they not been telling you you're a cop?
She pertains to the coming apocalypse. Or, am I not a cop? Everything is my business. Or 3. Fine. None of these are good answers. It's not that she pertains to the coming apocalypse. It's that she seems relevant to this investigation. But my brain's not working very well. So I guess I can't come up with that. Okay. Fine.
Extra fine.
Who killed him? That's what we're here to investigate. So where exactly is the body? Tell me exactly the details.
Behind this building, there's a courtyard. They hoisted him up on a tree there.
They. Okay. Not going to take any guesses, buddy? So we say, and how do we get there?
That's easy. See that door there? First you exit through that. Then to your right, you should see a big hole in the fence. A really big one. You can get to the courtyard through there. No need for the keys. The hole is big enough for the Franco-Nigerian cavalry to fit through.
Hold up. France and Nigeria are 2 locations that exist in the real world? I thought we weren't in the real world. But those are locations that exist in the real world. Interesting. Okay. I got nothing on that, but I wanted to just highlight that, point to it, say I have noted that, and we will proceed onwards.
Does he want you to feel guilty of making that hole? It's implied in his voice.
I still don't know that I believe that empathy is entirely reliable. But if empathy is reliable, then I might have been responsible for that hole. Which would I assume would mean that I had driven a car through it or something like that. I don't know. Well, we'll see. I can't really do much with that right now. But that is a possibility that had not even occurred to me that I might have had something to do with the hole. So thank you, empathy, for making me aware of the possibility that it could have been my fault. I'm going to ask who killed him. He's going to get annoyed, but that's fine.
I don't know who killed him. I'm not the police. That's your job.
I'm not going to ask, did you kill him? I'm going to ask, I have another question. That seems too far, even for Revolver Ocelot.
The lieutenant turns the page in the little notebook he's been scribbling in.
Actually, I think that's... I know you're not the bartender, so I wouldn't ask that. Yes, I'm glad Kim is taking notes. But the thing is, if I ask him, are you the bartender, he'll tell me who and what he actually is, and that might be useful later. So I'm going to do that, even if that's dumb and annoying. Kim is getting potentially useful information out of my stupid questions. So I'm going to do it.
No, I'm not the bartender. I'm the cafeteria manager.
He's very animated all of a sudden. This is clearly a touchy subject for him.
Interesting. But I'm going to say, what's the difference? I'm going to make him really mad, but I might learn something. Or just make him mad for no reason.
I have 3 cafeterias I manage. 3. Get over it.
That's interesting. That's very interesting. Because I had thought that it might be a sensitive thing to ask him about, are you the bartender, when I first encountered him, because I am... Well, I'm still drunk from the night before. But he's got something else going on. Because he could be uncomfortable. He could be uncomfortable with somebody who's clearly struggling with alcoholism, asking him and assuming he's a bartender. But I don't think so. I think he's really defensive about being a cafeteria manager, not a bartender. And there's some reason, some personal reason potentially. I haven't seen Knives Out. No, I haven't. I don't really watch movies much, but I've been meaning to. Yeah, I guess, well, the thing is, like, my question that I wonder here is he upset at the thought that he's just a petty worker instead of a manager overseeing things? Or is it the difference between a cafeteria and bartending? Is there something specific about bartending? I don't know. But I have asked a bunch of questions, and it is time to go. That's all.
Let's go.
Oh, I got some experience points for interviewing him.
Not so fast. You owe me 130 real.
Oh. What do I owe you for?
No one is saying the multi-pattern necktie you found tied to the ceiling fan can talk. No one. It must be merely imagination. But
Let's bail! Time to push the eject button! Sounds like a responsibility! You don't like those!
The necktie gets a different voice because it's not my brain. It's my hallucination. All right, this is going to go well. Actually, Kim's probably going to fix it for me.
no, don't listen to him. It's madness. Just talk.
I don't think I should get in the habit of listening to him. Also, notice that the necktie gets gendered pronoun instead of it. Which one is volition again? Well, I'm glad to know that we are, I'm glad to know that we're quoting the share zone here. The share zone is excellent. All right. Volition is the staying sane skill. Willpower. I feel like I could be really stupid and make it clear that I don't remember money. I could try to slip away and probably fail. Or I can take the aggressive approach, which is also probably wrong. Like, I totally believe that I owe him money for the property damage. My odds are low. I'm pretty sure that this is not going to happen at all. So, I'm just not gonna take our pants off and be easier to run away. That's pretty funny. I'm just gonna be really dumb. Maybe I'll get my brain back later. I'm gonna ask him one, what's real? Make sure to shout, I'm invisible, you can't see me. Oh, I bet that people save scum through things like this. I'm not gonna, though.
Oh, excuse me. You owe me 130 real.
Amazing. Oh, thank you, Dominic. That makes sense. I'll try to remember that.
The IIR, or Inter-Isolary Real, is the global reserve currency. Whatever part of the world you're in right now, it's safe to assume he means you owe him some money.
Okay. Thank you, Encyclopedia, for saving the day. Trivial. Yeah. All right. I love that it says whatever part of the world you're in right now. This probably means money. Okay, so there's a global currency. That's interesting. Yeah, that is not a thing we have in the real world. Let's see. So either you have to meet some form of street cred. No. Or I can say, oh, I understand. You mean I owe you money? Yeah, I'm going to choose that.
Wow, you're a genius. Yes, that's right, money. You owe this establishment 130 real.
He points to the red ledger on the counter.
Who does that clown think he is? Arrest him!
I just read some of these. Okay, so I can either say, did I just hear my tie speak to me twice? Which I might say out loud, which would be really bad. Or what do I owe this place for? Or, but what exactly is money? Or you're under his arrest. It doesn't look like you say that one, but that doesn't mean that you won't accidentally say that. I don't know that I trust the lack of quotation marks in this game, though. Like, what you choose and what you do does not necessarily... Like, what you choose does not necessarily indicate what's actually going to come from what you do. Oh, okay, so a reserve currency. The global reserve currency. Okay, so it's not that there's a global currency. It's not like cred in a cyberpunk universe. It's like the US dollar is consistent across, like you like a lot of banks in a lot of countries have that or can work with that. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, Night in the Woods did that a lot. And there's Oxenfree did that a lot too. And so you just kind of have to roll with sometimes you're just going to get a thing that you didn't anticipate. And sometimes it's very frustrating. But that it is what it is. It is what it is. Let's see. What do I owe this place for? I mean, we all know I owe this place for completely destroying my hotel room. I don't know how the hell he managed to destroy his hotel room like that. I feel like I should take Kim to show him what I have done so he knows what he's getting into. But, yeah. I'm going to ignore my tie for as long as I can ignore my tie because that seems like a good idea at the time. I am going to ask what I owe this place for.
Let's see. 3 nights at a tariff of 20 real comes to 60 real. Then there's the window you annihilated. The hole in the window was the first thing I saw when I came to work. So don't try to tell me you didn't. That will be 40 real in damages.
Yeah, because, like, there's always a possibility, since we're just, like, going to go, like, way. Okay, I got nothing. But if, for example, there was an attack of some sort that happened in that room, causing some of that damage, you know, if the detective that I am or that I am impersonating was attacked by somebody else or by me so that I could impersonate him, the specific of throwing your shoe out the window is a strange move. So, yeah, like I could have fended off assassins. Like there could have been an attack of some sort in there. We really don't know. It's an astonishing amount of damage for one person to do. And maybe he threw the shoe, whether it was me or the other person, to try to get the other person or something. There could have been some reason. But also this man is hallucinating that his tie is talking to him. So, I don't know. But I'm thinking about it. Yeah, I damaged the room while murdering the real cop. Probably won't earn a discount. That's true. All right. Let's continue.
Another thing you've annihilated is half the bar. You've run a tab of 30 real. Actually more, but we'll round it down to 30 for your hard work maintaining the stability and order of Revachol. That's 60 plus 40 plus 30 equals 130 real. And yes, real is still money.
I'm, like, concerned. I mean, that number's going to go up once he's seen inside the room. Yeah, he's rounding it down because if he makes it too high, he's never going to see his money. So he's like, just, okay, look, I'm working with you. Just please give us some money to fix the things that you broke. No, it's fine. I don't want to acknowledge the tie. I don't think I have money. So I think I'm going to have a tab, or Kim is going to have to cover me, and I'm going to owe Kim, which will not be good either. I am curious about this, because for me, this is like a... But really, when you think about it, what is money? The concept of money is... you know? Oh, I don't have a yes or no or whatever, so I guess, I mean, let's see what happens if we pick one. This man's opinion of me couldn't get much lower, and Kim needs to know what he's getting into.
No one is saying that. No one is saying that Ty can talk. That would be ludicrous. It's just that you should arrest him. It would be wiser. He wants to take your money.
So I can either say I'm not comfortable with this and try to tuck the tie away. I can say great advice, I'm considering it, and give the tie an affirmative tug, or I can say no way, I have duties, I'm a cop, I'm not talking to a tie, and take the tie off. Which would be a problem. Economics is totally astrology for dude bros and my dad, who is an economics professor. We disagree on a lot of things, as it turns out. All right. So I'm either going to try to tuck the tie away, or I'm going to get into a fight with my tie. I'm kind of worried if I get into a fight with my tie, I might die somehow. And take my tie off. Maybe I can sell my tie to him. That'd be great. Then it can be his problem. Amazing. I'm going to choose 3. No way. I have duties. I'm a cop. I'm not talking to a tie. Even though the tie tells me that I hate responsibilities.
Somehow, the knot is stuck, so you can't get it off. The lieutenant watches you struggle with it, the sweat dripping from your brow. He puts his hand on your shoulder.
Oh my god. Okay, Dominic. You take off tie, you throw it in the laundry pile like a dirty rag. Jail for Lauren. Jail for 1,000 years. I love that the Miette thing has become like this thing that we can all reference. It delights me to no end. Also, the fact that Miette's owner knows about it and is delighted by it is also delightful. It's great. All right. So I don't know what Kim is trying to do here, but he's going to probably reassure me or handle this.
If you don't have the money, it's okay. None of us are in this for the wages.
Is he an idealist? Is he an idealist who has joined the cops because he genuinely wants to make the world a better place and to keep the city safe? And he thinks that other cops also join the militia for the same reason? And if they start doing bad things and having problems, it's because the stress of the job has gotten to them? I thought that... I don't know. Oh my god. This is not actually a question to be answered. But I kind of wonder, because there is the possibility that there's something dark lurking underneath him. There could be the possibility that his kindness and compassion is only for specific people who are like in his in-group. which would be other cops, which is a thing that happens. Or it's possible that he is the one good man. And it is possible. I was saying, I wondered if there's going to be a golden thread of goodness to help me get through this. It is possible that Kim Kitsuragi is going to be that golden thread for me. Do not confirm or deny. We'll find out. There's just something really sweet about him putting his hand on your shoulder and saying it in that sweet voice. The voice acting does kind of, I'm even though I know that the voice acting was not all originally in the game, that they've added more to it, it adds an extra layer of, I'm like reading into things based on the way that lines are delivered as well. But there's a lot of tenderness in the way that he said that.
That's cop 4. I haven't offered to pay because I don't have any money either.
That's really funny, actually. None of us have any money. Amazing. Okay. But what exactly is money?
What are you, a philosopher?
I can either say, actually, I might be, or since I woke up, I have trouble remembering even the most basic concepts of reality, or no, I'm just getting my bearings. These are all good. I love all of these answers. I want to give all of these answers. Okay, actually, I might be, since I woke up, I'm going to go with 1 or 2. I'm not sure they're really good choices. I'm gonna go with 2 because it's most interesting. And none of them are actually, I mean, 3 is actually like a good, like, serious answer, but I'm not gonna take it because I'm a little bit dramatic. So, since I woke up, I have trouble remembering even the most basic concepts of reality.
Money is what grown-up people use to pay for things. Things like this hostel room, or 8 bottles of potent blend, and 9 packs of Royal Extra. We use it for everything, really.
Packs. Oh, those would be cigarettes. Okay. So I've been drinking and smoking a lot. Interesting. Well, to be fair, he's talking to me like a child for a reason. I can understand why. I'm also pretty sure that I'm responsible for the broken-winged bird. Interesting. Where do I get it from? Why do I need it? Or I can show him the coins and say, is this money? Amazing. I could move forward and not show him the coins, but I think I'm going to show him the coins.
Yes, it is.
Okay, that's 10 plus 10 plus 20 equals 40. I'm now down to 90, right? So I'm going to give him the money. It's not my money, but I'm giving it to him anyway.
No, you see, that's 40 cents. Cents are a form of currency 100 times smaller than the real. I'm not even going to take this. Come back when you have 130 real.
I did not even see what it said on the screen because I was busy reacting to him. This is amazing. I'm pretty sure that I just made it very clear that that I really genuinely don't know these things. There's like something is actually wrong with this man. That's amazing. Amazing. But that's horrible. I'm gonna go with but that's horrible. I don't even know what's horrible, but let's go with it.
It is.
He stands silently looking at the coppers on the counter. He's like, oh. I think he's he's realizing that it's not an act. Something is legitimately wrong with me. That's great. That's good. I'm glad we are all on the same page now. Everybody knows. We can proceed now.
For a moment, his antipathy is overcome by compassion for the sheer smallness of the money.
He feels bad for you because you don't have much money.
Isn't it evil? The order of magnitude between what is asked of a person and what they have.
A little bit of a commentary there, perhaps. All right. I can be really obnoxiously dramatic and say darkness rides. I don't even know what you... I think he's just being like... Is he like being like I'm gonna go, I'm the darkness and I'm riding on? Or is he feeling bad? Like, I'm really not sure what darkness rides even means here. But I do like it as a line. I just feel like I'm missing something. That's all right. It happens. Maybe he's just saying a thing that he thinks is cool. I don't know that this guy's gonna continue to be sympathetic if I say that. Sometimes you just gotta say a thing. I think I'm gonna not just say the thing. Yeah. I'm just gonna keep it to myself.
There's a shuffle of nylon as Lieutenant Kitsuragi looks for something in the pockets of his orange bomber.
I can place him under arrest, or I can say what happens now. Oh, Lieutenant, you don't have to. You don't have to.
I'm sorry, but he has to pay. I can't let him stay here any longer if he doesn't. If he doesn't have the money by tonight, then...
He shrugs. Yeah, because I asked what happens now. So the cafeteria manager can tell that I'm not able to function, and therefore he has to talk to the adults in the room.
Officer, maybe you are better off working this from home for now. You live in Jamrock, right? It's not that far away.
Okay, my options are, isn't there somewhere else I can stay around here? Or, I don't have a home. Or, I don't remember where my home is. Or, fuck this place, I'll take my chances on the streets. Or, I'll see what I can do. I don't know. I don't know. This guy lives in Jamrock too. What am I doing here? If this involves multiple districts, is this like right on the border? I can tell that there's passage of time, and I suspect that if I live in another part of town, that's gonna make this a problem. So I will say I don't remember where my home is. As interesting as fuck this place, I'll take my chances on the streets would be.
Officer, you really need to take this up with your station. I have a shortwave radio in my car. Call them, ask for assistance. We have to get this investigation started now.
Yeah, creases are appearing on his forehead. Yeah, isn't there somewhere else I can stay? I'm pretty sure that there's gonna be fan fiction about that. There was only one bed. I'm sure of it. I don't know anything about Ocelot. But, I mean... the internet? And these fellows. I'm pretty sure. Exactly! Kim's like, okay, things are really wrong. This is not good.
Good luck.
The man wants to say something, then thinks better of it. He can tell something's wrong. Oh, I have a thought, an intellectual thought. Let's see what that intellectual thought is.
By the way, where is home? The address is coming up blank, and this place sure isn't it.
I really don't remember. I could discard the thought, but I feel like, I mean, I might drive myself crazy trying to remember home, but I'm going to think about it.
But you've been at this hostel cafeteria for only 3 nights. Where were you before? You had to be somewhere.
Hostel cafeteria is really an interesting idea. It makes sense that it's a hostel and not a hotel. Like, it doesn't feel very hotel-like. Although it's interesting, the hostel has individual rooms. I don't know if it has any group rooms. I've only stayed at hostels in Japan where, like, you had to pay extra for a private room, but there were a lot of, like, options for, like, the number of people in group rooms that you could stay in, with bunk beds, and sometimes, like, you could close off your stuff and you could have, like, a storage locker and so on. It's really cool, actually. I liked the hostel experience. Let's see. Where was I before, though? That's a good question. I don't know what Marvel Hill is. I don't know. Is it near? South, maybe? Far away? I don't know. I'm going to go with near question. I don't know. I really don't know. Hostels aren't really common in the U.S. They're like, you can usually find 1 or 2 in a bigger city if you know, like, to look for them, but most people don't stay in hostels, and a lot of people don't even really necessarily know, depending on, I think, kind of what's normalized among your friends or your demographic. A lot of people don't even know what a hostel is exactly. People usually stay in hotels or motels. Motels are the cheaper option. So I'm not sure what American media would have hostels in it. Because I wasn't quite clear on hostels until I started looking at the possibility of going to Europe, actually. Because they're much more common in my experience in other parts of the world. Oh, hostels and motels. Yeah, okay. A motel is a very different thing. No. Motel is like a hotel. You rent a whole room. A lot of times motels will have outwards facing doors, so you, like, drive up and you go to the front desk and you get your keys, and then you walk outside and go to your door and go into your little room. But it's like a hotel. Whereas a hostel is more of a group living situation. Yeah, so a hostel tends to have rooms with bunk beds, or in other ways, like, separated. But it's more of like a communal living type thing. And a lot of times hostels will have, like, a communal kitchen, communal dining area. Sometimes they'll have communal activities, and you can stay there for a while, and meet with other hostel goers and from around the world, and it's neat. Oh, is motel like a hotel, but you're supposed to be driving up to it and it's on the road somewhere? Maybe so, Blue Glass. That would make sense. Look at us. Etymology. Okay, somebody look that up. Encyclopedia. Got distracted. Yeah, motor hotel. I wonder. Is a motel motor hotel? Wow. That's cool. I didn't know that. Awesome. Okay, cool. We're learning things. I'm so proud of us. Man, at 1,000-Year Door, we're learning about biology and geometry. Here we're learning about etymology. It's great. We're doing so great. All right. So where was I before? I don't know what Marvel Hill is. I feel like he might have been far away if he decided that he needed to stay here. But then again, if the options that you pick affect the reality of the story and his character, basically if you create reality by answering questions, then I don't want far away. I want it to be closer. Let's go with, I don't know, near. South, maybe?
You don't really know, do you?
I don't. Does that mean I'm homeless? Or I have only a vague blackened image? 2. I have only a vague blackened image.
A vague blackened image doesn't sound like somewhere you can stay if you run out of money.
So I can say either Could I trace the way back somehow to the exact street, the exact number on a building? Or I'll live in a dumpster. I don't care. Fuck everything. Hobocop. Hobocop sounds dangerous. But it's like RoboCop. Are they going to replace part of your body with robot pieces? Or all of your body with robot pieces? Are you going to be an android? Or maybe you are an android, just a malfunctioning one. RoboCop. That does kind of roll off the tongue, doesn't it? I'm going to go with 1, and he's going to be like, you're in no condition to do that. They're going to rebuild you with garbage. That's the RoboCop. Okay, got it. Got it. I'm glad that you are all on the same page there. Well done. Replace your body with dumpsters and overpasses, garbage, hobo pieces, or garbage. We are all sharing a thought here. They might have. No, that could explain it. They did a bad job. And cheap liquor bottles. Yeah. That, I mean, he ingested the cheap liquor is what he did. Oh man. All right. I'm going to say 1. Hobocop is interesting, but I'm not going to pick it, even though I'm really curious about it. So let's do that.
You can try. Run some addresses in your head when you get the time. Maybe a street or an apartment will appear.
I think that it's better to try to go towards reality than to fantasize about being Hobocop and transform myself into a trash monster. Just a thought. Can I go through the door now? No, I'm gonna have to go out the front door, aren't I? I wonder what happens if I talk to this lady now.
Hello, sweetie.
Wait, who's Sweetie?
Ah, okay. I had wondered about this, but this didn't happen last time I talked to her. That's fair. No, I think picking the batshit crazy option probably is a very fun way of playing this game. If you're like embracing the chaos, but I am not, because I am afraid that if I embrace the chaos, like A, like it's just not usually how I play games, and B, I'm afraid that might go directions that I'm not comfortable. Granted, that could happen anywhere, but I guess I can equip that. Yes, honest and reserved. That is what I'm doing. The opposite of chaos. Oh man. So who's Sweetie? Does that mean you like me or leave? I'm gonna talk to her. I mean, I might pick chaos occasionally. We'll see, but it would have to be chaos that doesn't make me feel potentially uncomfortable. Let's go with who's Sweetie.
Why, you are, officer.
I'm no Sweetie. Look at me. I'm sorry. He's too self-deprecating to say anything else. The other option is, maybe I am, but I don't think he would say that.
You're a handsome man, officer, with your mustache and your chiseled jaw and that silly dimple on your chin.
Oh my god, somebody actually likes him. Oh, that's cute. Okay, so I can either say, thanks, I appreciate it, or dimple or not, I am a bitter man. The years have taken their toll. Or, that stupid dimple has only brought me suffering. Or, I don't want to talk about the dimple anymore. She's being really sweet. She doesn't deserve me to be grumpy at her, but maybe, yeah. I don't know that she's that much older than our fellow here. If she is. She has a kind grandmother voice, but I think that 2 is not an antagonistic way of being like, I don't think I'm very sweet. Maybe she'll listen. Maybe she'll be kind to him. So I'm going to choose dimple or not. I am a bitter man. The years have taken their toll.
Take heart, officer. you're still a man in your prime.
Oh.
You must forgive me. I'm getting so scatterbrained. I completely forgot to introduce myself.
She slaps herself on the forehead. Also, she has a southern accent.
I'm Lena. My husband Morel and I are staying with our friend Gary just down the street, but I come here for tea when they're away.
Her eyes glitter over the rims of her glasses as she looks up, smiling. All right. I guess it's a cafeteria, too, so you don't have to be staying in the hostel. I'm really not sure how old the protagonist is. I would say he's probably pushing 50, but we'll see.
This Lena is wacky enough for the motley crew. Hire her on the spot.
What? What? Okay. All right. So I can say, you seem to be in a chair, or how'd you like to roll with me? Which I think is cute because it's like wordplay. Or I don't know if you've noticed, but I don't know where I am or what I'm doing or anything. Or Sweetie needs money. Do sweeties get money? Or I've got to get going now and leave. Police Brain thinks she's wacky and silly and weird, and so she could join my weirdos. I'm going to tell her that I don't know where I am or what I'm doing or anything.
Yes, officer. You look rather dazed. Like a stunned fox. But surely things can't be that bad.
Her eyes follow your movements with some concern.
She won't judge you, no matter what you say.
So I can say, I drank so hard I forgot literally everything. Or, I hope you're right. I hope it's not too bad. Or, yeah, I'm blowing this whole thing out of proportion. Forget I said anything. I'm going to go with 2. I hope you're right. I hope it's not too bad.
You know where we are, right?
Either we're in Revachol, on Insulinde, I don't really know, some seedy hotel, a war zone at the edge of the world, or we're dead, haunting each other. We're ghosts. I'm going to say we're in Revachol, because that I know. I think. Oh, I could say the Whirling in Rags cafeteria. It was on my keys. I completely overlooked that. So I'll say it was on my keys.
That's right. And where is the Whirling in Rags cafeteria itself located?
She's putting on an accent because Southerners don't feel the need to put an R between their vowel sounds. That's actually a British thing. So she's British trying to put on a Southern American, like an accent from the southern part of the U.S., a Southern U.S. accent. But there's a little tell there giving her away, which I didn't realize that British people do that until I started proofreading audiobooks. And whenever there was a British narrator, the actor, the character I think is supposed to actually be from the southern U.S., but the actor, if you heard when she said cafeteria itself, there's a little bit of an R in there to make a disconnect between the two vowels. In American English, in most of the country, I'm sure there are exceptions to this, but the South is not one of them because I'm from Texas, which is not technically deep South, but it's close enough. You just put like a hard glottal stop, I think is the right way of saying it. So you'd say the cafeteria itself. You cut that off. You don't flow those two words together. You don't go cafeteria itself. No, Texas is not culturally the same as the South. Nor is Florida the same as the South. Texas and Florida are their own thing. But deep South, like Georgia, Alabama, Arkansas, I don't know, Louisiana, because they've got New Orleans in there, kind of is a bit different. But like culturally and linguistically, that's different. Well, it's funny because like Americans do put a lot of R's. Like we pronounce the R's that are at the end of words especially, but that's like I have a hard American R and that's just how it is. But it's funny because British folks will put R's sometimes where there aren't R's and then they don't say the R's that are there. Yeah. Night Samovar. Yeah, so like the South is a thing. People will sometimes like talk to me like, "Oh, Texas, you're from the South," and I'm like, actually, no. It's yes and no. It's complicated. Well, given that like some of the other accents that we've heard do seem to be natively British accents, I would assume that they are probably hiring British actors, and that would explain why her character is not supposed to have that kind of an accent and is trying to put on a different accent, but a little thing slipped through. All right. So I'm going to go with in Revachol?
Yes, indeed. We are in the fine city of Revachol.
All I know... Okay, so I can either say, okay, or all I know is that Revachol used to be really cool in the 30s. Or, honestly, I don't know diddly squat about Revachol. What kind of place is this? I'm going to choose all I know is that Revachol used to be really cool in the 30s.
The new disco dancing. It seems like a lifetime ago.
Her eyes are filled with light reflected off those gilded years when the city seemed full of possibility.
Much has changed, but it is still the most beautiful city in the world. A rare jewel set in the sand between the pines. Everyone says so, even foreigners.
There's a pause as she studies your expression. You must look quite lost. I mean, I would assume that she's a foreigner, but I don't know. Just because her accent doesn't quite fit.
Speaking of history, you know what year it is, yes?
Okay, so I can either say the spring of 51, the year 973. All I know is we are approaching the end times, or it's a bad year in my late 40s or 50s. I don't even know how old I am, which is the option I'm going to choose.
There. The year is 51, and spring has only just started. I'm sure there are better days ahead.
I'm glad that she's optimistic. I like her.
The lieutenant studies you, rubbing his chin.
What are you getting out of this here, Mr. Kitsuragi?
I'm beginning to suspect that you might indeed be completely adrift in this reality, thinks the lieutenant. How can it be that bad? Never mind. We're in this now.
Yeah, you're able to tell that this is turning it into dialogue. But actually what this is saying is that you can tell that the lieutenant is beginning to realize how bad it is, but he's stuck with you.
I can tell that this is taxing for you, so I'll just ask one more question. What regime are we living under? What mode of government?
Oh man, these are some big options. Okay. 1, some kind of democracy, maybe. 2, I'd like to think it's the dictatorship of the proletariat, but something tells me it's not. 3, our leaders are fierce warriors who traverse the plains on steeds. Civilization cowers before us. 4, we are governed by intelligent machines that perform calculations to determine the freest market. Everyone hustles and grinds like a badass visionary. 5, radios are being used to control people's minds and distort our perception of reality, concealing our true masters, foreigners, and women. Or 6, cop. We are living under the cop regime. Yeah. Yeah, you could absolutely put these. Okay, so we've got like... So the 6th is actually kind of how a lot of cops think. In our modern world, they are above the law and feel like they should be above the law. And they are... they kind of only see themselves and their own people. 5 is like starting with Fox News and going to QAnon. I feel basically like a conservative to the point of conspiracy theory that foreigners and women and we could put a few other dog whistle types there in place of foreigners if we wanted to. And I say this as a person with a very openly Jewish last name, but that would be a group included in number 5. Their paranoia. A group that number 5 would be paranoid about, rather. They tend to be anti-Semitic in addition to just plain being xenophobic and misogynistic. 4 sounds like it's Ayn Rand style libertarianism to a crazy extreme. 3 is just straight up, I don't know, like that's just crazy dreaming, like warrior king, like yeah, Mad Max or something like that. 2, was that communism gone wrong? And then 1 is wishful thinking. I'm pretty sure that 2 is the right answer. 2 is the only answer that seems like a real answer here to me. Even the flat earth believers are hardcore anti-Semites. I shouldn't be surprised by that. I really shouldn't. Okay, dictatorship is used neutral. Yeah, that's the thing is like I'd like to think that it's this, but something tells me it's not. Which would mean I'd like to think that communism has worked out, but I think it's not. So maybe it has to do with space lasers. I don't know. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. All right, I'm gonna pick 2. I'd like to think it's the dictatorship of the proletariat, but something tells me it's not. Because the thing is, there's a lot of community-focused stuff that I feel like there's the presence of a union. Unions are very weakened in the U.S. They've been actually beginning to gather strength, which I didn't think would be possible. And a few other things like that kind of, and the fact that it's a militia instead of a police force and stuff, like makes me think that somebody has attempted, like an attempt was made to try to make it a community focused culture. But it doesn't work out that way. Yes, support your local unions. By all means, push them to do better. You can always push to do better, but it is better to unite than to try to go it alone. That's like the people with power have done their damnedest to minimize the chance of others getting power. But if you work together collectively, your little bits of power can turn into something bigger. All right, I'm going to go with 2. I'd like to think it's the dictatorship of the proletariat, but something tells me it's not.
Oh, sweetie. It's really not. There used to be people who thought that way. Other people who wanted those things, but they all went extinct.
So did they get exterminated? Because extinct is awfully harsh.
Revachol is a zone of control led by an alliance of foreign powers called the Coalition. We have almost no government of our own, and certainly no dictatorship of the proletariat.
So foreign powers have decided to control us. Presumably we did something that they decided made us too dangerous to allow us to be self-governing. So they took away our self-governance. It kind of makes me think, the reason why I'm jumping to that conclusion that they might be doing it to kind of punish us, it kind of makes me think of the way the US told Japan, like, you aren't allowed to have a military anymore. So we'll step in and do that for you. Because this, I don't know, this just feels like we can't trust you to do this, so we're going to do it. But it's a bunch of us doing it. It's not imperialism. That would be one country taking over. No, this is a group of countries deciding what's best for you because you are clearly not capable of doing that. Or the sanctions on Germany after World War I. Yeah, it has that kind of feel. It has that kind of feel. So that would explain why we don't have a police force, so we have a citizens militia that doesn't have uniforms.
But they still have cops.
If there's no government, how come there are cops? Or I could say, I don't even know what to say. I'm so disappointed, but I'm going to go with 1. If there's no government, how come there are cops?
Oh dear, this is troubling. You really ought to know that, being one yourself. There aren't any cops in Revachol, not in the traditional sense. The status of law enforcement has been a complicated matter since the revolution.
Yeah, no. Everyone's getting a sense for how bad things here are, but I'm also learning lore, so it works out.
But we should stop for today, sweetie. You look like you need a break. Besides, I'm not the best person to explain the big things to anyone.
I wanted to ask about the revolution. So I'm going to say 2. What is the revolution you mentioned?
A defeat, I'm afraid. The people of this archipelago tried to build something new, something different. The rest of the world didn't like it, so they came and ended it. This was 42 years ago.
Yeah, that's about right. Archipelago, though, I wonder if we're going to have to go between islands on this. All right, so what does that have to do with there not being any cops? But I'm a cop. Whatever it was hasn't stopped me. I'm going to go with what does that have to do with there not being any cops?
It has something to do with everything. I really don't know how to explain it better.
I'm just a poor woman, she thinks. What do I know of these things? And how can I help you?
Yeah. It's interesting that you can kind of... I find it very interesting that empathy... And there was one other that kind of does this sort of thing. Puts dialogue. Doesn't just say, she looks like she feels this way. But actually gives you kind of an insight of sorts into... Like, I don't know. It sounds like a person is speaking. It's really interesting. Suggestion, yeah. And the cop skill. Yeah, it's interesting that it does that. All right. So I'm going to go with, so how did I do?
You didn't do too well, dear. It does look like you're having trouble remembering things. History and places. Remembering reality, in a word. It's very odd.
Well, maybe I somehow unmade reality with some sort of wild and crazy thing, and now the world is going to end because I broke the time-space continuum doing something. I don't know. I don't think this is that kind of a story, although there have been a lot of talks. He's had a lot of dialogue options about some kind of apocalypse. But it is interesting.
A sigh. The lieutenant buries his nose in his notebook.
I'm sorry.
But maybe a fresh set of eyes is what the world needs. And while I'm no doctor, such bouts of amnesia are often temporary, so I wouldn't worry too much.
She's so positive.
She means this sincerely. Worrying won't do you any good.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. All right, so it's going to be the end of this conversation. I don't get to ask her to join me. So let's see. I guess the only other option then is who could tell me more to conclude this conversation.
Someone more educated in sweeping matters. Maybe you should ask.
She's gesturing to the lieutenant.
No, I'm not an encyclopedia. I won't be a guide either. I'm a detective.
Okay, he won't answer my questions about things because he looks away. He's not comfortable with this. That's interesting. I wonder why he doesn't want to answer my questions or help me through this. He wants to ask questions, not answer them.
Of course. Then I don't know. Someone rich, maybe? Wealthy people are educated. Though I don't know where you would find a wealthy person in Martinez.
Okay, that's good to know. All right, so I've got either you seem to be in a chair or how'd you like to roll with me? I mean, it's like rude to ask people about observations that you make about their body. And she deserves better than that. So I'm going to ask her, how'd you like to roll with me? And she's going to say no. Probably.
Whatever do you mean?
I want you to be my wheelchaired partner in fighting crime, ridding backyards of corpses, catching sequence killers. Not serial killers, sequence killers. Or nothing. I was thinking of the lyrics to a song, Wanna Roll With Me. I don't want to ask her for money. That seems awful. I don't want to take advantage of her. Let's give her my partner in fighting crime.
Sequence killers? Oh my. But I think you already have a partner, sweetie.
A partner who needs you to help him get a corpse down from a tree.
Haha! So I can either say, Kim, of course, I forgot I had you. I'm not going to do that to him. Or, I know, but there are also side mysteries, sequence killers, and forays into the paranatural. The fact that they say paranatural instead of supernatural or paranormal indicates that there is something different. So there actually is, perhaps, an otherness that exists in this universe that does not exist in ours. I'm very curious about that. We'll figure it out. Or the one that I'm probably going to pick, which is, you're probably right, Kim. I'm going to not.
It seems to me that you lucked out with your partner. He has the look of an upstanding officer of the law. Someone you can lean on, and sweetie, you are looking unsteady.
Yeah, I'm not going to ask her for money, so I'm going to say I've got to get going now.
Of course, dear. Good luck with your case.
She's a sweetie. All right. So my character, this sheet, that's a save thing. My thought cabinet. Lonesome long way home. Your factual memory will return if you do this. Or while you're researching it. Okay. Problem. Let's rewind. Let's trace your drunken steps back home. Jump across the raised channel bridge southwest of here. Fall over. Get up. Get off the asphalt in 20 minutes. Shuffle your feet through courtyards, scaring little children. Go under the great raised motor tract, the 881, until you reach Little Man in North Jamrock. The streets are frozen this time of year, caked with ice. Walk down Main to Perdition. There's a side alley there and your footprints in the mud. There's no solution yet. There's no solution yet with Guilliaume. I am curious about the Lonesome Long Way Home. How it calls. Yeah, I've got one going. Yeah. I don't know how you can you, if you change it. I wonder if you change it, if you lose the stuff that you've put into it, or if it stays at 23%. Or if you can have multiple ones. I don't think I can. I don't think I've unlocked enough. Oh, you can internalize them both, actually. Hold on. I'm going to work on that. Oh, look at that. They're connecting to each other. All right. Well, he's got two ideas going on. Cool. All right. So my encyclopedia goes up. Because I'm thinking through things. Okay. Multitasking, indeed. Well, folks, we are well past when I'm supposed to stop streaming, but we did get off to like a 20-minute start, a 20-minute late start. So I think I should probably save the game. And go from here. I should probably delete some of these saves. Shouldn't I? I should probably delete some of these saves. I'm going to do this one. All right. We have now saved. So yeah, thank you all so much. I know I'm supposed to tell people, like, don't forget, if you like what you see, to follow me. I'll be doing this every Thursday night from roughly 7 p.m. till roughly 10 p.m. Eastern. Obviously, that depends a little bit on depends a little bit on whether we have technical difficulties at the beginning and if we are in the middle of something at the end. But thank you so much for joining me. There's also, if you want to make sure that you join our Discord, there's a spoiler chat where folks can talk and do the peanut gallery while we go. It's a great way to get your spoilery and backseaty like tendencies under control with other people who are also squirming in frustration at the same time. You can also find me online in social media places and basically anywhere. I'm LaurentheFlute, and I hope to. Oh, hi, Limit Breakers. Sorry, I'm about to shut down. I'm just doing my good nights. We've made some good progress here, but I think it is time for me to head off and go give my little Sophie cat a little attention. Yes, I'm LaurentheFlute, and you're getting the boot. I'm gonna do like a proper like ending and opening. I'm gonna be doing some stuff to my channel, some channel maintenance. So look forward to things looking hopefully a little bit better soon. All right. Bye. Take care. Thank you. And 1,000 Year Door is on Tuesday too. Yes. Okay. This time for real. Good night.